This video is not an endorsement of violence or a glorification of conflict, and it is not intended to provoke war or disparage any group or any nation. I am not an expert of history, and I apologize in advance for any inaccuracy in my discussion. I hope that someday all violence will just be in games, and that all differences will be resolved by a well-reasoned dialogue, communication, and understanding between all parties. Welcome everybody to another episode of the Wildman Gaming and Rage Quit channel. So we're going to take a look at the operational art of war. The scenario we are playing is the Chosin Reservoir of 1950. This is a battle which took place on or about late November, early December of 1950, with the American forces comprised of the 10th Corps and the US Marines um, in conflict with the Chinese Communist forces in 1950 as they were way up north in Korea near the Changjin Reservoir. I think it was called the Changjin Reservoir, but during the time of the United States forces were using Japanese-made maps. And when the Japanese had occupied Korea at that time, the maps that they used, they called that area Chosin. And the name has stuck in US history, or at least among the veterans. So they've called this the Chosin Reservoir 1950. In the meantime, the North Koreans back then were still fighting, but the North Koreans had been pushed all the way up north and the Americans were very close, I think, to the Chinese border. At which point, I believe the Chinese government, the Chinese Communist Party, had sent out statements and declarations that they would join the war and enter North Korea if the American forces went up too far, or even if they went up to the Yalu River, if I'm not mistaken. And in that instance, they did start to enter North Korea at some point. The Americans, I think at that time, General Douglas MacArthur, seriously doubted or had pronounced doubts regarding the capability of the Chinese crossing over, or rather, even if they could cross over, that American air power, superior air power, would make it very difficult for the Chinese to maintain such a campaign. Well and good. So the American forces went way up north. The problem is, at one point, in the when they've gotten to the Chosin area, the Chinese started to attack at all points, going all the way from the port of is it Hungnam, going all the way up to the Chosin Reservoir. They were coming in from just about all sides. Well, I wouldn't. Yeah, we'll see here in the video how far they go or where they were coming out. I was going to say when I was playing this game, they're coming out of the woodwork. They're just coming out all over, and they were coming out and seriously imperiled the northern part of the American forces, that they had to retreat or go back. And we'll discuss that concept of retreat. It's not called a retreat. Popular media would have said it. It's not a retreat, but they went all the way back to the Hungnam area. Now, the discussion on why it's not called a retreat, I think it was during one of the interviews when the American general was asked, "Are you retreating?" And when the American general, or should I say Major General Oliver Prince Smith, O.P. Smith, I believe, he was being interviewed by the army correspondents regarding the retreat, and I believe he was quoted with the words, "Retreat hell! We're just advancing in another direction." So when I looked at the scenario here, the game, I believe the objective was for us to bring the U.S. forces back to Hungnam. And in fact, the victory conditions would set it up that way, or at least the victory message. I might as well say now, the victory message set up that if you are successful in your objectives, that it would praise you for the drive back to Hungnam. But I at the time I wasn't too knowledgeable about how to go about making the retreat, so I said, what would happen if we did not advance in the other direction? So here what you're seeing is I'm trying to move further deeper behind enemy lines, the Chinese forces there in the light colored counters. And you could see here US forces. I am driving this force. I think it's from the 7th Regiment of the US Marines, driving them trying to capture the supply points of the Chinese forces. This was the Chinese Communist Forces, and when I was trying to do some background reading on this, they were called the People's Volunteer Army. And when I looked at this game, when I was playing this game, I said, interesting how the Chinese forces here were called the PLA, or it sounds like the People's Liberation Army. So I wondered, is that a significant distinction, or are they just the same? So I did some reading, and I did find some writings on Frozen Chosen, where they talked about how, I believe it was Stalin, Joseph Stalin, in consultation then with the Chinese government, who recommended that if the Chinese would join the war, that it should be fought by People's Volunteers from the Chinese, which of course would be led by the Chinese leaders. So it might basically be just a change in nomenclature. It could still be the Chinese Communist Forces, basically still the People's Liberation Army, perhaps renamed under as People's Volunteer Army. But in any case, in this game, they are designated as a PLA. And we have here on the left in Yudam-ni our forces from the U.S. Marines. And you will see here from the Chosin Reservoir on the right part of it, near the Yudam-ni River, of course, are other U.S. forces also being attacked by the Chinese, coming north from them. Let me see, from Hudong-ni, you see, and Sasu-ri, already occupied by Chinese forces. And what we're trying to do is trying to pull back and consolidate our forces and concentrate them, and also to give them a chance to rest up. You can also see the condition that they're in. If you'll notice, the upper right corner of the counters are black, and I believe that means that they are out of supply and very, very short in their resources. And what this means, it doesn't mean an instant annihilation. It just means that their force capabilities would slowly degrade over time as they try to conserve their resources in their units. And so that's why I felt it was so important for them to pull back, or retreat or advance in another direction, to pull back and recuperate, hopefully. But that would be a question of whether we could get them supplied. I should have checked and shown on the screen whether they are in supply, really. So over here, the artillery, Task Force McLean's artillery battery Charlie is actually reorganizing, and that again severely limits its capabilities. And over here, I'm checking up north. How far are the supply origins of the Chinese forces? No more supply coming from the Yalu River, so that gives them 3 supply points. And I'm thinking, if we could capture them, we could severely weaken their capabilities of advancing and hopefully hold on to the Chosin Reservoir. So I pulled back, look backwards. One thing I realized here, if you notice those hexagons, and I don't know how they disappeared in the later part of the video, I'll have to figure out the controls in the Operation Lord of War, but I really kind of like them. By the way, that mouse cursor that's moving back and forth, I'm actually trying to analyze, will there be Chinese forces coming in from that area as well, because I felt that would be vulnerable. So you'll see the supply line coming from the southern part, from the lower part of the map, going all the way up. That would be the main supply route, and we would have to keep that secure. So that's why I was looking. I was drawing my mouse over there, and I was wondering, are they gonna pass through here? Are they going to capture the main supply route coming from that from the western part of the map? So I was wondering about that. So over here, I still go through the map trying to wonder where will they attack next, because I couldn't. I just thought that they would be coming from the north, but I was wondering if since there was a part on that main supply route that had been captured, would they be also coming from that side? Now, getting back to the hexagons, I was looking at the hexagon grid, not the hexagon grid of the map, but you'll notice the large colored hexagons. They show effective ranges of different units, and I believe, for instance, that white border there shows the range of the artillery unit near Hudong-ni. This later disappears, but I think it's very useful at some point for those who are knowledgeable about using these hexagon grids. It's useful for estimating whether your artillery and your headquarters units can actually support the other units that will be involved in a battle. You want to keep them close together, of the same unit, maintaining unit integrity, and you want them to, if they fight, you want them to be within supporting range, right? Okay, so here from Koto-ri, I'm trying to figure out if there's a way to get a connection around the Hagaru-ri point, so that we can connect with Hudong-ni and get them supplied. That's what I wanted to do. Interesting though, as I also noticed that there are actually supply points, supply origins in the areas that I'm passing through, and this one I'm not sure how it works, because I wanted to cut them off from supplies, and if they're having supply areas there, how does that work? I don't recall the Chinese having air supply from that area, so I'm not too familiar with how the game or the scenario works. I'm just playing this actually for the first time, so I wanted to know if I could capture those supply areas. But if those are supply origins, supply points, then that would mean that these Chinese forces, possibly because they're mountain infantry, are capable of being supplied. So we'll see if I don't know if we can cut them off. But my main objective right now is building a supply route that would go all the way up to our forces in the Chosin Reservoir, and near left and right of the Chosin Reservoir from Tokdong Pass and Hudong-ni. So I bring up the engineers here, engineering unit here, and from the 5th Regiment of the Marines, and we keep bringing up as much as possible our units. Okay. See, I'm trying to figure out, should I occupy this area because it's a supply point and therefore deprive them of supply. That's an interesting point that I was trying to think about. Okay, and throughout the video, it's basically going to be a long video if I put all the entire raw footage here. But what I'd like to do is probably give you the highlights of the game. But again, sorry, just to summarize, where are we at? Basically, what we've tried to do is, instead of retreating all of our forces and fighting all the way back to Hangnam, we're going to try and cut off the supply of the Chinese forces and see if we can hold on to the victory points that have been placed in the northern part of the map. Which brings me to another interesting question, that if the objective of this scenario was for the American forces to get saved and brought all the way back to Hongnam, why are there victory points in the northern part? I mean, Yudam-ni and Sasu-ri, why are there victory point places there, 10 points and 5 points? It's one of the reasons why when I was playing this scenario, I said maybe I should keep them there. And I'm not sure, maybe the intent of the scenario is to give up those victory points and save as many of the American forces. Hopefully that if you save enough forces, then you don't lose points for your losses, and maybe that's what will help bring your victory. I didn't know at the time. I don't know how that worked at the time. So anyway, that's the basic game plan that we're going to try to do. So in this short video, let me see if I can show you some of the other highlights of this game, of me basically trying to hold on to the northern part of the map against the odds as the Chinese forces start to come out in this scenario. Okay, let's look at some other points here. Well, reviewing the video, we could start with our advance, starting from Kotori, because I'm thinking that the forces that we have here could advance and take advantage of. I consider it a target of opportunity there. There's an artillery force up there in the mountains, and if we can attack them, hopefully it will not be well defended, because it's, artillery units tend to be vulnerable in direct contact, when in direct combat. So I'm thinking if we could advance next to the artillery unit and attack it, then that might be a good target of opportunity right there. And the other advantage is not just for the sake of attacking artillery units, although there's a kind of I would say the nom 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 factor that makes it attractive, by which I mean it's just like grabbing a quick win fighting the field artillery. But another part there is that if you can eliminate artillery, maybe you eliminate the supporting units, the combat support units for your enemy. And if the enemy does not have a good artillery force, and for that matter, if the enemy forces lose their headquarters units, it could severely impact their actual combat forces' ability to fight you. So I guess that's where the strategy is going. You cut off their supply, eliminate their artillery and headquarters units, and then maybe you'll get a chance to fight the enemy, and you'll have a stronger chance of defeating them, the forces in your engagements. So here there's a mountain infantry here from the Chinese forces, and it's kind of isolated, so I'm thinking maybe it's a good idea to attack it with a strong force, and we'll see if we will have any success with that. We can take a look at the other combat that we have here, and the other units that we have here. Here we have the 10th Corps, USA finally encountering Chinese forces. Again, I'm trying to cut them off from supply as well, trying to see if I can encircle them from the Yudam-ni range, north of the Yudam-ni range in Poksan, and we'll see. But I noticed that actually my forces are very weak. Look at the HQ unit there, has very weak capabilities. That infantry unit, a very weak capability. How can it fight against that our infantry unit over there? So we'll see how that works. But at first I see another artillery unit, yeah, from the PLA, the 50th PLA division, heavy mortar battery. Okay, so it's a mortar battery. So would it make sense for the infantry to attack them? We'll see if that will help us. Okay, now why don't we end over here? We see how we gotta pull these guys out. The Task Force McLean. I think later on it will be renamed Task Force Faith, but I don't know if that will change in this game. Whoever, I think Wild Bill designed this scenario, and I don't know if he actually added that script there, but or I don't know which happened first. Like I said, I'm not a history expert here. I'm just playing these strategy games and actually learning as I go along, which is one of the reasons why I'm trying to learn a little bit at a time. Okay, so over here on the south, we've got I believe these are aircraft carriers, and they have a lot of planes. I just don't know how far the air support would reach. We'll find that out later. To what we would assign for our air units. I think that under the circumstances, I had put it in combat support, but I'm thinking it should have been better served by assigning them to interdiction, because again, it's in keeping with our original strategy of restricting the supply routes and movement of the enemy. I think I have two air units here in this scenario, and we can assign one of them to interdiction and the other maybe to combat support. Hopefully that will be useful. Okay, so over here we've tried attacking the artillery unit, and well, we did push them back with about a significant percentage of losses. So, and I think when you get losses here in the combat results in operational art of war, if it says here, for example, 44% loss check, it's a check for the loss, meaning the computer makes the unit roll 72% or 44% of the units roll for their losses, to find out whether those particular components of that unit would suffer that loss. Would they lose mortars? Would they lose infantry? Would they lose tanks if they had tanks, or trucks, or half tracks? Um, it checks that. It doesn't automatically mean that they've lost 72% of their force. So if you're ever in a good fight and you find that your enemy loses, say, 50% of its force, and 50% loss, that's a 50% loss check, because it doesn't mean that if they suffer 50% twice, it doesn't mean they're obliterated. I think it just kind of makes the loss or elimination of a unit more graceful, more gradual, rather than is the unit eliminated or not. And that's how the combat model is designed. It's not bad either, because if you find that they've had a loss check which is significant amount and then they've retreated, then it is possible that maybe they've lost quite a number of units, and it just means that you have to press the attack more, and that you have to attack them. You have to press your attack and hopefully eliminate the unit. But they were able to defend themselves over here. Okay, so we're gonna have a new turn, and for the new turn, it'll be the Chinese faction, China side's turn. Going to go over the loss reports here for the China PLA. So they did lose. They're engaged. Actually, they didn't lose anything, and they will be getting replacements as well. Meanwhile, for the 10th Corps, they've disabled one rifle squad, one total loss of one rifle squad, and so on. But we need to find out if we can recover from this. Okay. Oh, the second turn. Look at that. So in this game, there's a random opportunity for either side to take that turn. So in this instance, it was the U.S. turn, but apparently it was the U.S. turn again. So then it'll probably alternate from there, and then the China's turn, and then after that it will be randomly determined who's gonna turn again. So I guess under certain circumstances, it is possible for one side to get a turn back to back. Okay, so we continue here with our strategy of trying to link up with our forces in Sasu-ri. And so we'll try to push back the mountain infantry using the Marines, and with our we use again that tank unit. Okay, moving them forward, pushing the artillery back, and hopefully, okay, let's keep doing that. Let's keep pushing them back. Yeah, the problem there is you keep pushing them forward, and I just wonder who's gonna surround me. Might as well just keep on attacking targets of opportunity. Look at this. There's an anti-air battery there. They might be weak against tanks as well, so maybe we could try that. and I'm trying to compute whether I should link up from Sasu-ri with that tank unit, effectively isolating the mountain infantry along Hudong-ni, which I've done. But of course the question is, who's gonna take up in Sasu-ri? And so we bring our infantry and other units in Sasu-ri, and hopefully we can hunker down and defend that area. So why don't we bring everybody out and bring them into that town. Everybody go to Sasu-ri. Then we're gonna get out of the oops. Now that's a difficult part. One of our artillery units there, very very weak actually, but also it's engaged. It can't disengage from the enemy. It can't kind of get away from them. I hope it doesn't get surrounded. And how is it gonna pull back? Meanwhile, from Hungnam, we're going to see who else we have here. Oh, I was just examining the air units. Now this gets confusing. Look at that. Hungnam is the port city, and then there's another one called Hanghom. That's a railway intersection. So good. I try to keep in mind that Hanghom is the railway intersection and Hungnam is the port. Okay, and again trying to look from you see, is it Majondong and Nisudong. We have some units there, but what we want to do is try to maintain that supply route going up and try to keep them from moving. And here's another opportunity. Let's go ahead and attack that mountain infantry. I wonder if we can attack with all units attack option there. Okay, let's attack there. And I don't know what to do with the Marines here. Should I move this forward even more, or should I just join in the attack of the mountain infantry and obliterate it? I think I'm starting to think. I believe I'm considering here the importance of maintaining the supply route all the way to Sasu-ri. So maybe we can attack that mountain infantry south of Hudong-ni. Okay. Now the HQ unit, can it attack? Well, we do have some artillery capability and some air support capability. So maybe what we can do is we can have all units attack here from that area. Meanwhile, the engineers, let me see. I think I disengaged in order to get back and reinforce Hagaru-ri. So we'll probably try to hunker down and fortify our defenses, build fortifications there in that defense. Meanwhile, we've captured we're going to capture this supply point over here out of Hill 1403, and hopefully we'll go north past Pamyangi-san. Okay, and over here we'll try to see if we can maintain a supply unit going here. See if we can cut off the Chinese forces near the reservoir pretty soon, because if we can cut them off, I didn't know that they would have artillery there, but if we could cut them off, then I'm hoping can't we should cut off that artillery unit in the northern part there, because if we can cut them off and the Chinese forces at Yudam-ni would be out of supply, then again it would severely limit their capability of kicking us out of Yudam-ni, and then we get to keep those 5 points. You know, we just hunker down and build fortifications, and of course make sure that we maintain our supply routes all the way through Hagaru-ri and Hudong-ni and so on. But here we've got Marines fighting against the PLA division, 1st Battalion, 5th Regiment. We'll see if we can defeat them. How do we estimate forces, and how do we estimate whether we should attack? I guess from what I remember, from what most people talk about during war games, I think what you'd like to do is have a 3-to-1 ratio, and I don't know if that works here, because it doesn't necessarily mean that I know the combat model for this game. So I don't know if 3-to-1, meaning 3 attack values. I mean, if your attack value to the enemy's defense value is at a ratio of 3:1, does that give you a 50% chance of defeating the enemy. And that's my question. But that's what I try to do. I try to see if I can get them a 3-to-1 advantage whenever I plan an attack. And we'll see if that works. On the other hand, there's also the component of it's not just numbers, it's also rock, paper, and scissors. What are you attacking? What are you attacking with? If you're attacking combat units versus combat units, it's a serious consideration should you have a 3-to-1 advantage. On the other hand, if you are attacking units which are not designed to defend against your attacking units, then that's another consideration. Like when I said let's prioritize attacking artillery and support units, because that means that maybe they don't have enough capability to defend against your units, no matter how large their force might be. Let's try that. So later on, you'll see us trying to attack the artillery. Over here, the numbers might have changed. You might have noticed. So now, at a while ago, we were looking at movement points. I wanted to know if I have enough movement points to encircle the Chinese forces here at Puksang. Apparently, I do not. So, okay, that's fine, fair enough. We'll just try to attack them further. You'll notice my artillery unit, actually, I feel that it's vulnerable, because what's it gonna do if it gets attacked by that Chinese infantry unit with the 1113 force? That's 11 attack value and the 13 defense value. What happens if they attack my artillery unit there? It'll probably retreat, but we'll see if we can maintain our attack against their artillery unit. Okay, so let's see, attacking. Let's resolve the attacks. Okay, so you saw there how its defense value even went lower, and over here you could see how the Chinese forces tried to move back, is trying to go back to their edge of the map. Okay, and it reveals, so it's interesting, an artillery unit over there. Okay, so mountain infantry moving back from our 10th Corps. It's a good start, and it's very weak, so maybe if we attack it, who can attack it, I wonder. HQ unit can't really advance on it, but can bombard it, but infantry has run out of movement points. But we can still use our infantry to attack the artillery here, so yeah, sure, why not? Okay. Notice we're still not retreating. We're not advancing in the other direction. We're still trying to hold on to the northern part of the map. And from Hagaru-ri, let's hunker down, I guess. I don't know if I want to risk it. I got engineers and I got marines. Yes, they're strong, but we'll see what we can do about that. And they're green. Look at that on the upper right corner. These units are green. It's just that it's the ones at Sasu-ri that have me worried, because the upper right corner there indicates black, because that means that their condition is very poor. It's very poor. Meanwhile, our advanced tank force there, nom 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 nom. Look at that, very weakened, and we're just chasing him around the map until it's eliminated. Okay, so that was very satisfying when you're playing a game and you have units and so overpowered you're just overrunning them. Yeah, that can be satisfying too. Of course, we should keep in mind that even though it's satisfying, it's a question of whether in our overall strategy it's actually doing us any good. So yes, in most cases it's good to eliminate units, enemy units, but it's also good to eliminate units where they should be eliminated. Like in this case, what you'd want is to eliminate those units in the rear, and then cut off their supplies, cut off their support, and hopefully the combat units will be out of supply and will have no support units to help them in combat, making them weaker, or reducing the strength factor there. Okay, let's resolve the attacks. Let's continue to attack the artillery unit. Well, look at that. Okay, we're next to a headquarters unit, and again I'm thinking, if we can actually attack that headquarters unit, harass it, disperse it, destroy it, it will again severely limit the ability of the other combat units here to attack. Let's see if we can do that. Let's hope that will work. What are the odds? What are the odds? I don't know. At this point, even though I don't have an overwhelming force attacking the HQ unit, I'm hoping that the nature of the actual weapons inside the infantry unit are stronger, and that the nature of the weapons in the HQ unit do not give it much defense against the infantry that's coming to attack. So we'll see. I'm wondering if HQ units are actually inherently, shall we say, defenseless or weak. We'll see about that. Okay. So here, I don't know if we will still have any other battles to resolve. Here at Yudam-ni, I'm just trying to hold on, preserve my forces, keeping fresh, and hoping that they can hold on to that point. Meanwhile, we were not able to advance. Oh, look at that! It severely depleted. Not severely, but yeah, it has depleted our infantry units there. Ooh, there it goes. Oh, did we lose an artillery unit there? So sorry about that. And here they're bombarding. Oh, here's another thing that I noticed about the AI here in this scenario. A lot of the initial opening attacks are bombardment attacks before actual attacks. Except here, you have some units. They quote-unquote weakly attack us at location 5, 5. What is a weak attack? A weak attack, I believe, is an attack which breaks off early. I think that's what it's called. So perhaps the setting there, the AI had put the setting there to a, let me see, minimize losses, I think. But in our case, even at minimized losses, we were severely disorganized, routed, I think, in this case. And why is that? So I guess we probably had at least 2 infantry units attacking us. I don't know what else is under those HQ units there. Probably a lot of, you could see it, artillery and HQ units. So that probably contributed a lot to our losses. So they continue their bombardments. I'll have to find out and play this game some more and maybe read up on it and find out what happens in bombardment scenarios. But here in Yudam-ni, they've begun their attack in earnest. All 3 units are under attack along this. All 3 hexes under attack, including that hex behind, being bombarded. But we'll see if we can have our defenses up. The tank, our tank unit, all of our units are set to regular acceptance tolerance of losses. But over here we have our very badly beaten or very severely out of supply units, low units being attacked. Here we got thrown back, and not only that, I think that our tank unit has been disrupted enough that it has separated into component units. We'll see if we can recombine them later. And gee, I hope that one of the component units did not get eliminated, because then we won't be able to recombine them. Even worse, one of the units has actually retreated, and that makes it even more difficult to recombine. No, we've been cut off again on Hudong-ni. So that again foils our intended plan of supporting Sasu-ri, because I guess this cuts off our units. And meanwhile in Yudam-ni, we are under attack. They got artillery attacking us, but we were able to hold out. So you can see here the combat results. Percentage-wise, there's not very. It doesn't look like it's much, but actually, I feel that we're getting beaten back. We're getting pushed back. Okay, so it's our turn again. Looking at the combat results, it's our turn again, and I think I saw there that we have reinforcements. We'll take a look at what we can do with the reinforcements afterwards. Okay, should I pull back the Marines? Okay, should I pull them back, or I should move back to cut them off? I think I'm considering pulling them back, because it looks like our northernmost forces are going to be cut off. So again, we tried encircling them, but at the same time, we might be cut off and end up being encircled. But the march goes on. We've got a tank unit here, and we want to move forward and capture the supply point over there. How far can we drive this? It looks like this is the farthest we can go, so let's try it. Is that a good idea? I don't know. All I know is that at the moment, I'm hoping that they are out of supply. Okay, so let's close up here behind the Toktong Pass area and eliminate that infantry unit over there. Okay, and meanwhile we'll continue to hold on to Yudam-ni. One more thing that I noticed in playing this game, it's Windows based, and I've set my, here's a technical discussion here. I have set my screen capture to capture the window. So right now, Operational Art of War is it's a default area. It's functioning from a window. Ooh, look at that. We eliminated the mountain infantry there. So right now, Operational Art of War is running from a window. And when I right-click on units, it gives me more options. It opens up another window, which is not being captured by my screen capture program. That's interesting. Maybe I should change it to a literally screen capture rather than window capture. Okay, and so what that means with window capture is that it's not capturing the submenus that come out when I right click on the units. So we don't get to see whether I'm choosing say fortification, whether I'm choosing minimize losses or ignore losses, or just accept regular losses. We're not seeing that, and all the other options. Okay, so that's interesting. But I'll see if I think I recorded this before, and I'm trying to remember what I've done here as I'm watching it, and maybe it can help us take a look at what are some of the things we're doing here. So again, at Puksan, we're trying to encircle it, but we're having a hard time. Our infantry up north, infantry unit there north of them, is trying to encircle them, but having some difficulty moving. At the same time, we're trying to bring enough forces to bear so we can push back on this infantry unit. Although again, thinking back, maybe I should be concentrating on encirclement, on cutting them off. Oh, look at that, another HQ unit. No, not another HQ unit. That's the same HQ unit that we pushed back earlier. So let's try to push back on that. Meanwhile, we are there in Majondong, and we've got here the Funchilin Pass has been captured. I think it's been captured even at the start of the scenario, which is a strong indication as to why the US forces wanted to retreat. Another interesting point here is that you'll notice that you've got higher valued victory points as you get over here in Funchilin and in Kotori and in Puksan. So it's a calculated move if you try to advance. If you try to advance in the other direction and try to go back to Hongnam Port City, Hongnam Port area. If you try to do that, what you're trying to do is you're giving up Hagaru-ri and Yudam-ni and probably Sasu-ri. So you're giving up 20 points and hoping to keep the remaining points along the main supply route and closer to Hongnam Port. So maybe that's the calculation with the scenario over there. But here, on the other hand, what we've ended up doing is trying to hold on desperately to these northernmost areas. I'll probably regret it from a different perspective, not from a victory perspective, but from the perspective of keeping your units alive, because the overwhelming Chinese Communist forces that come in will actually eliminate a few units, and that's going to be it. I suppose it's going to give us some loss penalties as well in the victory computation. So it's a question of they eliminate us, how many of them can we eliminate? Again, that might change if we are able to concentrate our attacks on the weak support units of the Chinese forces in this scenario. So we'll see what happens there. Okay, so again, we're still out of supply. Things are getting desperate. We're being cut off. The U.S. forces are cut off there at Sasu-ri. I guess in real life they should have really retreated. So we're reorganizing. Sasu-ri is going to be. Will it be considered a flank? Yeah, it could be a. Sasu-ri could be flanked from this perspective if they advance further north west of Sasu-ri. Okay, now from going from Hamhong, keep going north, and then from Puksan, defending it, and then from the Toktong Pass, we continue our attack. Maybe we should have used that as a limited attack, find out where they will retreat, and then advance from there. And, see, over here, we try to break them. Okay, we've actually kicked them out, and there's that slim route going up. And the question is whether we can maintain that. Okay. And then we've also repelled the mountain infantry and widened our corridor from Hagaru-ri. We'll see if we can do that first. Go on, advance. That'll be 3rd Battalion, and maybe all units attack. Yeah, why not all units attack? Okay, let's see if we did that. Okay, so you'll notice we know that this is an all units attack because of the red arrows that come out from the upper right corner of our Marine battalion, and then from the top side of that other Marine unit. So the little red arrows of the side indicate where they will be attacking. So we've had all our units attack that mountain infantry. The other one is that stack from Hagaru-ri is gonna attack all of the units in that stack who are going to attack that mountain infantry. Question is where that mountain infantry will retreat to. Okay, now we don't have much movement left going to Hill 1403. I wonder if it's a good idea to go there. Oh, look at that. So maybe it's a target of opportunity. Maybe we can attack the HQ unit that's there. How about that? Let's see if we can weaken the HQ units. But I'm noticing that they have a lot of headquarters units here, and I'm not familiar with the scenario enough to know if they're all how they all work together. Are they all cooperative? We'll see. Okay, so we've eliminated that other unit by simply overrunning it. Do we want to move further up north, or do we want to go back over here and see if we can secure the Funchilin Pass? We'll see. Maybe we can walk over here. I mean, not walk, but I noticed that this road gives us a lot of mobility. I wonder if we can take advantage of that. Okay, so we've got the engineers here and the HQ units. Maybe we can bring them up here and build fortifications. If we can fortify Yudam-ni even more and make it a tough nut to crack, make it costly and with respect to time. Okay. Gee, I don't want this video to take too long, but it's actually very interesting talking about some of the maneuvers that we're doing here. So yeah, we'll see if we can shorten the video further, but for the meantime, let's go up, try to support or follow on the encirclement that we've got over there. Okay, now let's see what we have here. We've got okay, yeah, this unit can move. Yeah, our infantry from 10th Corps can move. Maybe we can move back and try to capture that other location to the south. Okay, and recapture it for US forces. Meanwhile, let's all move back. It's good, and then try to, and then we're going to fortify our defenses in that area. When are they ever going to get supplies? When are they ever going to get reinforcements from that area? I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Let's attack. Resolve our attacks. Can we kick back the HQ? No, we did not. As a matter of fact, we also had some loss checks there. But we were able to kick back the mountain infantry back into Hudong-ri. And meanwhile, the mountain infantry has been some of them have been forced back. Okay, and that ends our turn. So we'll see what the Chinese PLA are going to do. They're trying to continue surrounding us, and they've taken over Mahjong and reinforced it. We're gonna have to find a way to get back at it, and kick them out of there. Again, maintain that supply route all the way from Hongnam all the way up to through the main supply route, going all the way up to Chosin. Okay. So they continue their bombardments and they continue their attacks. They repel us. Oh dear, we've been repelled, and we've got some more reinforcements. We have a significant victory on points alone, meaning we have those points and maybe some of the lost points taken into account. But along the Funchilin Pass, we're gonna have to clear up that way. So we have some more infantry from the 10th Corps, Task Force Dog. Let's see if we can go up all the way to Majundong and liberate and recapture that area. So we've got armored units, infantry units, they're kind of fresh. We've got 2 artillery units. Okay. Going up from Hangheng to Oro-ri. That was a full stack movement, and there we find, as predictably, we do find a stack of Chinese units. Do we have enough movement points for all of these units to attack? Let's go ahead and do that. Full stack attack, and hopefully we will get some combat support units as well. And can we cut off this HQ unit? Let's go and do that. I mean, I am tempted to attack the the artillery unit, but it's actually defended by an infantry unit. So let's see if we can do an all units attack here from 2 hexagons. And I'm hoping that will constitute a flank attack. And if we are able to complete that attack, I think and I hope that means that these Chinese forces near Puksan will be isolated. Okay, and you'll notice that my artillery, there's a little letter T to the right side there, so I think that means that it is set to a tactical reserve. And setting artillery units on tactical reserve helps them contribute their bombardment values to any attacks that are happening within range. Okay, 1/2 of their bombardment value to any attacks happening within range. So this means if you got multiple attacks within that area, it actually might be a cost-effective way of providing combat support. Okay, instead of having them directly join an attack. Okay, then if you notice some of the units there that have a letter F on the right side, then that means that they are set for they have been fortified. Okay, I can't remember, what does it mean to have a D? Is that a D? Okay, I'll check again. I can't remember what that means. Okay, so we've got the Marines here, and we can I'm thinking maybe we should continue our support of the army armored unit there along Hudong-ni. Maybe we should move that Marine up north, and then all units attack Hudong-ni, because if we can do that, then it widens our corridor for supplying Sasu-ri by about 2 hexes. It just gives me a kind of comfort that there's enough space to provide supplies. Okay. Okay, so that's our group composition, and let's move up north to Hudong-ni. Let's go ahead. Go, just right click on it. Go ahead, right click on it. There you go. All. So we right click on it and we ordered all stacks to move forward, and then from here we're going to try an all unit attack. What are the odds? By itself, I think the odds indicated 0.8 to 1, which is not good. I don't know if we can do an all units attack there. Um, it's not visible here, but maybe that option is coming up. But if we do an all units attack, then that would mean we would have 6 defense points against at the very least. Yeah, I think that'll be more than 3 to 1. So, but out of economy of force, are we trying to also attack that unit over there? Okay, all units attack. So we're going to try to repel both of those units, push them back hopefully, and severely weaken them. And meanwhile, the folks near Sasu-ri are entrenching. The E means that it's entrenched, and then hopefully we'll reach to F for fortified. Okay. Okay, let's see. The artillery there is set for tactical reserve. Okay. Meanwhile, over here, let's try to continue. No, maybe we should try to envelope them. We should try to envelope them. Oh, we're trying to press and harass that HQ unit. Notice here our armored unit. Yes, we can take it. We can take that supply point, but I'll have to interpret how the supply and occupation area works, because it appears to me that the armored unit is starting to get isolated, and I don't know to what extent. I mean, for instance, okay, so we've got supply. We got a supply route, but very severe. Look at that. Those numbers: 5, 1, 1, 7. So that kind of indicates the percentage, I think, or the amount of the supply that you're gonna get. Higher numbers are better, because that tells you what percent of the supply route is getting through, and that's very low. Compare it here, we're getting 22, 30, 1/3, probably getting into supply. But I'm hoping that by cutting off all these supply routes, I'm hoping that the Chinese Communist forces near Yudam-ni and Sasu-ri are effectively cut off from supply. So how do they feel about that? I'm hoping that would actually have them retreating back north, and get a taste of their own medicine, so to speak. Instead of us retreating, no, we make you retreat. Okay, we'll encircle you and we'll make you retreat to recover your supply. That was the original intent, but as the video progresses, you will see the gameplay. They found a way to revive their supply sources. I think, my bad, what I ended up doing was I actually moved out of the supply sources as well. So here we are working them back. I don't know if that's a direct result of our having taken over their supply sources. I don't think that will take immediate effect immediately. But here we're pushing them back from Yudam-ni, and hopefully that other mountain infantry there up north will be pushed back as well. We're gonna chase them all over the map. Oh, look at that. Our reconnaissance unit actually is the one that advanced on them, probably because of their advanced mobility. HQ unit being under attack, and it moved back. If that's the same HQ unit, I lost track. But if that's the same HQ unit, let's go ahead and attack that. Over here, this HQ unit has been pushed back as well. I am inclined to continue surrounding the HQ unit as we encircle those forces. Ooh. Okay. So we've got a fragmented unit here, and in Majandong, are we pushing them back? Yes, we did. But can we take over? No, we did not. Come on. Let's take over that Majandong. Okay. Let's see. It's still our turn. We still have some parts here available, but do we still have enough movement points to attack that HQ unit? Because if we do, I'd like to chase it, keep it on the run, and hopefully continue to harass it, and hopefully it would be reduced in strength and provide less and less support. Whether or not the other HQ units can actually bypass it and provide more support, that's another matter. Maybe that will happen too. if all the Chinese units are cooperating with one another. Okay. So let's see here from Yudam-ni. Shall we exploit our victory and continue to push back? Well, that would depend. It's got a defense strength of 5. With if we combine our forces, then maybe we would be able to eliminate it. But I'm seeing another target of opportunity here. It looks like that this stack here that we pushed back is actually also weaker. So if it's weaker, that gives us an opportunity to maybe push it back with our army, because the Marines, it looks like the Marines are quite exhausted, so maybe we can just attack with just the army and push it back. Okay. Or yeah, how are we gonna do it? No, I'm contemplating maybe we can move forward the Marines here, and can this stack move forward even more, widening our corridor even further for Sasu-ri. Okay. Meanwhile, let's continue to chase the mountain infantry there. You'll notice where the you can actually read it, where the cursor is going, where the cursor pointer is going. There's a hidden submenu there that did not appear, but it tells us that we had an full all units attack. Okay, over here we're gonna do another all units attack as well. And here, do we push, or is it a limited attack ship? Okay. And let's see if that attack will work. Meanwhile, in Hagaru-ri, should we advance in order to further support combat? Maybe the HQ unit east of Hagaru-ri can move up forward, and it'll be able to support Sasu-ri. And then Hagaru-ri, maybe we should just keep it there in case of other attack that comes. Or we should put the tactical forces, put them on tactical reserve, so that they could help. We'll see if we can. Well, I want to know if I can do that. And in the meantime, why don't we just put them on tactical reserve, so that our infantry unit can continue attacking the mountain infantry over here. But I noticed that our infantry unit over here is actually weak. It's got 7 attack strength, and the mountain infantry has 11 attack strength. So I think twice. Let's see if in Hagaru-ri we can send in our infantry units more, and then see if they'll be outflanked. That would be 7 plus 9, that'd be 16 versus defense strength of 11. I'm not sure if that's such a good idea. Okay, but at the same time, we don't want to. I don't think that's a good idea. So over here, let's attack the HQ unit. They've only got a defense strength of 5, so at least we've got a 2 to 1. Sorry. 2 to 1 tactical advantage, strength advantage against them. Let's see if that'll be enough to push them back even more. And then hopefully that will close the gap and they will be out of supply. Meanwhile, they have their strength 10 infantry unit there, and so that's another question of whether we would end up being pushed back as well. We don't have enough movement points apparently to take up Majandong, but I'm hoping we can do that later. What else do we have here? What are we looking at? We're looking at some reports. We have reinforcements. They've moved, they've attacked. Okay, so we've made use of our reinforcements. Let's move on. Task Force Dog is moved forward. Okay, and let's resolve some of those attacks. Let's go. Click. Yes. No? What are we gonna do? What's wrong? What are we looking at first? Yeah, we've attacked them. Yep, let's go. Yes. Okay, let's push back that HQ unit, and it evaporates. Is it? Yeah. 100% losses, is it? Let's see if we can do that here too. Whoa. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Yeah, 100% loss check. Okay, so I guess that evaporates. Okay, and then we're pushing back the mountain infantry again from Yudam-ni. Okay, I would suppose it's a good move not to advance. Okay, and we continue to push back the mountain infantry here. And as I said before, we're gonna chase them all over the map, all the way back to Yudam-ni. Yudam-ni over there, that city over there, or village. And then over here with a full report. Yeah, we've still got some percent remaining, but we don't have enough movement points to take out Majandong. Can we exploit this? Let's move forward and close that gap. That deprives them of their supply, because then they will be encircled. Okay. Or, goodness, I'm wondering, I hope it doesn't work out that way. I'm wondering if this infantry unit with 10, 13, I'm wondering if strength 10, defense 13 here south, I'm wondering if this one is actually maintaining a supply route coming from Pongsan. Ah, that's something I did not check. I should have checked if there are supply routes coming from the eastern part of the map. Okay, so we've still got these units here along Foncholin Pass. Should we retreat to Hagaru-ri, or should we continue to attack this infantry unit over here? Well, the reconnaissance unit still has some movement points, and maybe I would vote to encircle it, and then the Marines can still chase them. But I would have voted, I think the wiser move would have been to encircle them. I guess it's all about circles, isn't it? It's all about encircling the enemy. Okay. Okay. And look at that. Our supply is actually not very good. Our supply situation. You can also tell that our condition is not very good. The upper right corner of the unit is colored red. And if it's not black, but it's still red, so that means it's under very, very low condition. So maybe let's save our strength and then just continue occupying those areas. Okay, we'll see what we can do about that. In the meantime, let's oh no. Okay, so I think this is where I went wrong as well. I was seriously considering whether I could move forward and help join up with the other forces here. But yeah, here's another thing that I think is not a good idea for me. I've actually separated and distanced the units from their headquarters units, and as a general rule, you don't want to do that, because you want to maintain unit integrity, which means that you'd want the units to continue being able to support one another. And the HQ unit is supposed to give support, but you can't do that if we're too far away from the HQ unit. So that's why you want to keep your units together. Okay. And we'll see what we do. I hope I didn't move that there. I think I did. So let's continue. What are we examining here? 10th Corps, Task Force, McLean, 7th Division Battery. Yeah, okay. So they're supplied, but it looks like they're all in pretty bad shape. Yeah. Well, hopefully with the replacements coming in, they will improve their condition status. Meanwhile, okay, we've got the 10th Corps. Let me see, 7th Regiment, Marine Division up here. We're down to about 17 Pershings, Greyhound, 1 Greyhound. Wow. And over here, we've got, let me see, 3rd Battalion. Got lots of units here. And as far as our supply is concerned, supply is not very good. But based on this examination or inspection of our units, we'll see if we can recover. They're under red condition now, so that means that they're close to that means that they are very weak. Compare that with these yellow or yellow-green conditioned units. I'm talking about the upper right corner colors markings because that's an condition of the unit. Okay. So over here, let's see if we can encircle some more. We have the Chinese mounted infantry near the chosen reservoir, and I'm hoping that the reconnaissance unit will have enough movement points to encircle them, but I don't know how that would work for them. But I noticed, see that blue supply source? I don't know how that works. I'll have to figure out how that works. Why do they have a supply source nearby when I thought that the supply sources were way up north? And if they're getting supplied, who else is receiving it? I hope nobody is, but I don't know why they have a supply source there. Meanwhile, from Yudam-ni, I think we can, let me see, we can try to do some combat planning. Around Yudam-ni, we're going to advance some of these other units and attack. Let's see, that headquarters unit, that's in the division HQ, and also that infantry battalion, the mountain infantry unit over there. So we can move on, and this HQ unit, the 10th Corps Task Force McLean, it should recover. We'll try that. And then over here, our divisional HQ, maybe we can move it up and provide closer support to the other units, hopefully also increasing their supply, receipt of supply capability. Yeah, because that armored unit over there doesn't look good. It's reorganizing at the moment, so it might have been badly beaten, and it has to recover from that. Okay. Meanwhile, let's see, do we have the Chinese units over here? I wonder if there are more Chinese units hiding behind that area. I don't know if there are more units hiding here, or did they stack up and concentrate under that division HQ? Okay. And then you've got your infantry battalions. They've been sitting there. They're probably recovering, resting up, recovering as well from the supplies provided by the HQ. If they have, they don't look like they are in supply, and I'm hoping that because of that they will try to conserve their supply, their capabilities, and refrain from attacking. So one of the things I've been trying to figure out in this game is how do you get intelligence on the conditions of the enemy? I guess it's part of the fog of war, but I'm not sure what kind of how could I assess the enemy's condition. Are they in good condition? Are they out of supply? Have they lost plenty of units? I mean, I know that comes out in the combat results table. I mean, in the combat results. But if I try to look at their current condition now before I make an attack, I'd like to know, have they recovered? Did they get resupplied? Okay, but here we try to resolve our attacks again, and we're going to chase the mountain infantry all along the edge of the reservoir. Meanwhile, this other mountain infantry, we're sending them back up, going to the Yudam-ni River, and we've encountered the anti-air unit over there, and then we're pushing back on that division HQ. Oh, yeah, actually, it actually stayed pretty strong. It didn't get scared, didn't retreat. Okay, and now it's time for the Chinese People's Liberation Army. You'll notice that we had some Chinese units moving south near the Tokdong Pass, which we had not seen before, from Munam-san. So that's very interesting because that means we're going to get hit from behind at Yudam-ni. Furthermore, you have another infantry battalion coming in from the north, and it's going to encircle us as well. It looks like it's going to be pretty bad for Yudam-ni. I think we're going to end up regretting not leaving that village and trying to hold on to it. But, well, we are trying to find out what happens if we don't advance in the other direction. Meanwhile, we got kicked out of Sasu-ri, and we're getting badly beaten as well. I think this shows the Chinese units pushing back at us. Okay, so I guess we'll have to take a look at how we can recover from this. I mean, we've got some units that are isolated. They're on condition red. Interesting thing I noticed is that the entrenched Marines are getting steadily resupplies. They're now in yellow condition rather than being in red a while ago. That's the one a little bit northeast of Sasu-ri, but there's an infantry unit here that's been badly beaten. It's a company, but it's down to 1 strength and it's reorganizing. Meanwhile, at Majandong, they've come back and they have more in. They've actually got more infantry here. They have a mountain reconnaissance unit here, a mountain reconnaissance company unit south of us, coming in from the direction of Hagaru-ri. I'm wondering how we're gonna get out of this one because it looks like they're going to encircle us as well. Yeah. We just want to kick them out of Majandong and push all the way up, but it looks like they're going to encircle us. Like I said, they're coming out from all sides, and the two things that are actually scary here is that I don't know how much of the enemy is still out there. Like, what don't I see? Sorry, something's wrong with the audio, but what is it that I can't see? And that's what's got me concerned. Meanwhile, we'll continue to encircle them. I wonder if I can go all the way up north with this infantry battalion, or should I just continue to try and encircle them? Now that looks like a weak artillery company, but I think underneath that artillery company there's another infantry unit that's actually full strength, and or at least of sufficient strength that I don't think it would be a good idea to attack it. Okay, meanwhile, there are more of the weakened infantry units here. I think these companies are actually coming from a battalion that has been disorganized or separated from their units earlier. And if they are isolated, it might be a good idea to push them back. I'm wondering if I should have an all units attack, but I do not want the unit in Puksan to be dislodged. As a matter of fact, I want it to be more deeply entrenched before moving forward, and then maybe before even thinking about attacking. Okay, so here from are we going to push back on that infantry or just continue kicking them out at Majandong? I'm in favor of kicking them out of Majandong and holding on to that, although there is a danger of being encircled again and being out of supply if the supply source is coming from Hongnam port. Okay, so we've moved forward and basically overrun these mountain infantry units. Looks like they're going to be running all the way back to their units, back to the Chinese side near the Chosin Reservoir. Meanwhile, the reconnaissance unit, what are we gonna do about that? Maybe we can close them off as well, because that infantry unit looks like it's being supplied. Or we can move forward up further northeast and just cut off the mountain infantry. something's wrong with the video as well. Maybe I should try to fix that. I don't know why. I mean, for some reason, I think it might have something to do with the frame rate, but I think that it's not so crisp. I don't know what's wrong with this video. Probably the resolution. I need to fix it. I'll have to think about how I can do that. Meanwhile, our lone armored company is in condition red, and it's isolated there. I'm wondering if we should perhaps move it south again so it could reconnect and get resupplied. That would be good. Maybe we could move it down to Sasu-ri and reconnect there with the entrenched infantry. And if we can do that, and if it gets resupplied, then it becomes a stronger unit. The problem that I have is that if I do that, will the enemy regain the supply points? That's the question that I have. But let's see if we can attack them. Okay, so we're going to push on these weakened units with our units as well. We have a stack here of Marines, and we're going to push back against the Division HQ. Hopefully, the Division HQ cannot defend itself very well, and will continue to harass it and push it back further and further. Now, this is not a very strong Marine unit, but we'll try to execute an all units attack. It's got a 6 defense strength unit, and we'll be attacking it with a 13 attack strength, two units totaling 18 attack strength. 13 attack strength. So that's 2 to 1, and it's not necessarily a good idea to my mind. And then we leave our entrenchments and go right into the city of Sasu-ri. We're going to defend it and hopefully retain the points that we have there. And meanwhile, from Yudam-ni, maybe we can, I don't know, that's a 12 strength infantry unit. Is it a good idea to attack it? Or what we can do is just entrench ourselves in Yudam-ni and maintain the supply at Sasu-ri. Okay, over here, I don't think I'd like to move these. These are fortified units, and we want to get deeper and deeper in the entrenchment, just so to buy time. I'm thinking that if we hold on to this and successfully, then it just gives it a difficult time for the Chinese forces to move further down south. And if they move further down south, they won't get to Majondong and get all of those, and Funchilin Pass. So I'm hoping I could hold them off there, keep them busy there. In the meantime, if I can wrap up the units here north of the Yudam-ni mountains, then maybe we could hold them off and secure the gains that we have for the main supply route going up through Kotori. Except that the pass going up is still occupied, or at least owned by the Chinese forces. And we do have some weak units here. Although they're fortified, they're very weak. Look at the composition. They've lost their heavy rifle anti-tank squad. They only have 2 rifle squads. It's not very good. Doesn't look very good. The only advantage they have is that they're fortified in a mountain. So hopefully that will provide a multiplier effect. Okay, and over here, south of Hagaru-ri, I think we've still got some good units. Maybe we can concentrate and attack all units against this mountain infantry and dislodge it and get it out. Now, one of the things I have to study about this is why is there why is the supply situation very poor? Is it because of the occupied village south on the southern part of our pass, and they're not getting properly supplied? So you can see here that the supply is 40% for this reconnaissance unit. So maybe by having a low supply, they're having a difficult time recovering, and they're having a difficult time keeping up their strength. And meanwhile, for that mountain infantry, how's it doing? Okay, so I've added them again to maintain unit integrity. Hopefully that these units will stay together, and hopefully by adding the reconnaissance unit, it will give us an advantage when we make an attack. Okay, looking at the supplies, okay, I see that we still have plenty of supplies on our part, but you notice that from Koto-ri, the supply rating is at 49. So it looks like we're not getting main supplies from that area, or we're getting only something like partial supplies from that area. Okay, so they're moving around. I think they're giving us a hard time by moving around, trying to avoid us. And then meantime, near Puksan, we were able to dislodge them, and we're knocking them out of their position, keeping them off balance. I'm hoping that's what we're doing. And we have now isolated an infantry battalion here. And as for, you could actually see the units change, the force size change as we attack that HQ unit, but one of them got disorganized as well. Okay, we're kicking them out of Meijondong, but not enough for us to advance. The other condition that has me worried is that now it's in the black condition, which means it's out of supply. Okay, we've eliminated that mountain infantry unit, so that's a good thing. And I think that if we maintain that, we'll be able to clear up that area and maybe go south. Okay, so here we've taken Majondong, and I think what we should do is keep it secure, our gains there. We were not able to disengage in those other areas. Yeah, but if we can maintain and secure our holding at Majondong, it'll be good. I just wish we could have other units that could come up and get rid of that mountain reconnaissance unit, mountain reconnaissance company that's a bit to the south of us. Meanwhile, we can't move, and our infantry company is in condition red and condition black. If you look at the northern, if you look at the upper right corner of the unit, so that's not a good thing. And the fact that it's in condition red, it does mean that it's in very bad shape and would have very limited capability of movement. Okay, so maybe it can't move at all. Okay, now that we have taken over and removed that mountain infantry, I wonder if this frees us up to go south and get Funchilin Pass. Maybe we should send over the reconnaissance unit ahead and see who else is there. But meanwhile, we have a strong marine battalion up here, and I'm wondering if we can still use that to take care of the infantry. Now, one of my problems there is that if I go up straight north, I'm worried that I might get encircled by the mountain infantry. So that's what's got me worried. So I tried to attack the lower right, the southeastern mountain unit. Okay, so yeah, let's get this marine unit going down south again, and hopefully we can take the Funchilin Pass and secure our supply lines. But then we'll have to go all the way further south. We'll have to go south further in order to help our encircled units. Task Force Dog. Okay. Task Force Dog at Meijandong. That's where they are. Okay, now let's take a look at Task Force Dog and its condition. It's a reinforcement. It's new. It got caught up in a fight with Majandong at Majandong, and oh my goodness, look at this. You got some units that were routed, and even some units were eliminated from that. Doesn't look very good for them. They've got to hold on to that and fight off the enemy forces there and defend against it. But at the same time, what I'd like to do is make that connection from Majandong up through Funchilin Pass, going all the way up to Hagaru-ri. But okay, let's start. We've skipped over the other inspections and tried to resolve the attacks. What's going on? We tried to attack this mountain infantry, but it looks like they put up a fight and they had no other place to retreat, but they were not destroyed. We'll try it again, or one of these. I think the other two, the northern mountain infantry has been weakened, but I wonder if we can still attack this particular mountain infantry unit. In its weakened state, it's out of supply. Oh no, it's not out of supply. Actually, they can now get their supply coming from the HQ in the upper left corner of the Chosin Reservoir. Now, I just don't know if, but I don't know if they're getting any supply. I mean, I've turned on the supply hexes just to see how much supply anybody's getting, but I cannot see any supply coming from the enemy. So it makes me wonder, are they getting any supplies? Okay, so now, for instance, I think that this particular infantry unit here with strength 11 and defense strength 12 is isolated and out of supply. So if we attack it, then maybe it will diminish and not recover. Meanwhile, at Majandong, Task Force Dog is out of supply. Okay, and we don't have much reinforcements right now coming from Hongnam. Okay, but let's try to resolve the remaining attacks. Let's attack that mountain infantry again. Not bad, not bad. Okay, so they evaporated. We're attacking that HQ unit again. We've moved forward and advanced. Ooh, we found an artillery unit. Choice. Do we attack the HQ unit, or do we attack the artillery unit, or why not both? But I don't know how strong it would be. Okay, so we've got an air defense unit up there. This HQ unit is actually a prize HQ unit. It's very high up in the echelon. If I'm not mistaken, that's a core HQ. And if we destroy that, that would also severely limit the capabilities of a lot of units here. Okay, so we've attacked them over here. Look at that. Okay, so we're chasing the air defense unit into the HQ unit. Maybe we can use all units attack there and attack the core HQ over there, and then we can continue with the artillery unit as well. I think we've run out of movement points for our marines, and they can't attack the mountain infantry anymore. So moving on, oh my goodness, look at those forces over there. What do we have? Is that I think it's an armored platoon and an armored company. They are both reorganizing, very weakened. Meanwhile, the 10th Corps HQ 1st Division, we're putting it in tactical reserve. And also we have an HQ, a regimental HQ nearby. Both of them, we'll put them both in tactical reserve. But what can we do with the HQ? Maybe we can move it up further north so that it can provide support up to the platoon at the company at Sasu-ri. And while they are encircling that regiment, that Chinese infantry regiment there, just north of Hudong-ni. Well, let's see what they can do from there. Yep, let's bring up this HQ unit, bring it closer. Hopefully by bringing it closer, the reorganizing units will have an easier time recovering, and they'll be brought back into supply, they'll be replenished, and they'll be back in full force in no time. We've got some other platoon units over here. Meanwhile, near Buksan, I'm still wondering whether I should harass or attack or weaken that infantry unit, but actually it's very strong, and it's just protecting a weakened artillery unit over there. Okay, and near the Chosin Reservoir, we still have the mountain infantry. I still don't know what it would take. They're a hardy bunch. I've been trying to eliminate them, but there's still 3 units there, 3 companies of mountain infantry, if I'm not mistaken, and it'll be a while. What I think I should do is head them off at the reservoir and knock them dead over there. But they're near the mountainous terrain, they're in their element, probably lending to their survivability. What I should be worried about would be the 2 infantry battalions that we have behind enemy lines, which are now being encircled. They were supposed to be encircling them, but now they are encircled and cut off. Meanwhile, they continue to bombard our HQ unit, our regimental HQ there, and near Yudam-ni. And they continue to bombard us, so we're encircling them, they're encircling us. We haven't advanced in the other direction, we're still up north here. Meanwhile, we're trying to open up our main supply route, trying to get up to Majandong, but we're getting kicked by the Chinese forces that are cutting us off. So in a manner of speaking, our northern forces, which have chosen not to retreat, which we have chosen not to bring them back close to the port area, they are being isolated and being attacked. There's a strong chance, I was thinking at that time I was playing this, there's a strong chance that actually all these units up north here will be cut off and they will just evaporate. Okay, but some of them are pretty strong. Look at that, strength 17, but look, the defense strength is 5. We're hoping that by fortifying our units there, they can withstand further attacks. What I'm trying to go for, I guess it's a fault in my strategy, is holding on to my gains until the time runs out for the Chinese. I'm hoping that time is on my side, that I can secure my gains and reinforce my units so that we can continue to have we have reinforcements, so that we can finish the game with a high score. Right now, I think that the score indicates a victory, but we'll try to secure that, because if they kick us out, the score will of course dramatically go down. The other thing I'm trying to do is to eliminate enemy units, because that will also give us some bonuses to the score. Meanwhile, coming up, let's bring up our headquarters unit, a very strong headquarters unit with a core headquarters, 19 attack strength, 14 defense strength, and we'll use its artillery bombard capability. Now, do we dare to attack from Majandong, or again, will we have our company isolated there, just hunker down? Well, we've got an armored company moving up and kicking the mountain infantry. Hopefully, we'll keep them unstable. But if we can secure this area, if we can sweep the enemy out of this area, we can secure up to Funchilin Pass. We can secure our supply route all the way up north. Hey, that's what we're doing. Okay, hopefully we can keep up the route down through Sudong and help the US forces here near Toktong Pass and near the reservoir, and maintain our gains there. I feel very bad that I had allowed these two marine units, these two marine battalions, to be isolated northwest of Yudam-ni, and I think that by doing this, the Chinese forces here are steadily being resupplied, and that will be bad for our forces there, because pretty soon they will deplete and overpower the US forces. Meanwhile, we've only got this one battalion, Chinese battalion near Sasu-ri, which we have surrounded. We're not attacking it, we're just basically letting it use up its resources or something like that. In the meantime, we've got a company, an armored company stack there that we will use to push out the soft support units, in particular the air defense unit. And I see that there is an artillery company, Chinese artillery company, also that we can kick around. Okay, so what do we have here? Our headquarters regiment headquarters unit is actually reorganizing. It's very low in attack strength and basically also low in defense strength. Probably because of bombardments, or I don't know if it's because it's starting to use up its supplies as well. But from Hagaru-ri, let's bring up our infantry, and hopefully we can pinch and destroy our Chinese infantry regiment over here. Okay, and over here we have some infantry that's entrenched. And we have an HQ unit which is in tactical reserve. We can also bring it up. Objective again is to resupply, support the units here in Sasu-ri. Meanwhile, we can maintain in Hagaru-ri a company for just to keep it secure. Okay. Meanwhile, how is this regimental HQ doing? Let's look. Okay, so we've got the order of battle of all the units, and we want to know where we want to put this. We can maybe, well, we do have our HQ units over up here at Yudam-ni. Maybe we can put some more HQ units near the Toktong Pass, and I wonder if that will help in the supply route. Could you chain HQ units so that they will help each other in replenishing the supply? Let's see. So I'm looking here near the HQ units near Hagaru-ri. The supply ratings for the different hexes are 33, but I noticed that the supply ratings near Toktong Pass are in the single digits. That's really bad. And we're trying to consolidate everything, all of our forces, trying to put them together, stack them together. Hopefully they will supplement and protect one another, putting them into Yudam-ni. The problem there is that if you stack them all together, you could concentrate your forces, but you can be surrounded by the Chinese forces here, and I don't know which is worse. I'm thinking that it's just better to die together. No, wait, that's not something I want to think about. I don't want to think about that. Meanwhile, from the north, we've still got this armored company over here, and I still don't know what to do with it. I still want to cut off the supplies from for the supply route for the Chinese forces in Yudam-ni. Then maybe we can cut them off there. You know, we've encircled them, they've encircled us, and then we encircle them again. Basically, trying to cut off each other from supply, weakening the other force. That's what we're aiming for. Meanwhile, north of the Yangnim range, we've got weakened forces that are fortified. It's almost like a stalemate because we don't want to attack them because they're stronger. Their defensive strength is stronger than ours, but they don't want to attack us because we are fortified. Okay, but here maybe we can firm up the supply route, and once we firm up the supply route, maybe our units will recover and increase in strength steadily. And if we can keep the enemy out of supply, then they will be weakened, and we'll have a better chance of eliminating them. Okay, let's resolve our attacks. Let's kick out the mountain infantry with our infantry unit. Yeah, they were on the road. Where else were they going to go? I'm surprised they didn't go into the forested area. And we have destroyed the air defense unit there, I think, or they've moved back. But moving back, we have now found that they've moved back into a headquarters unit. My thinking is, again, I'm hoping that the headquarters units will be relatively weaker. Or they might be strong on the offense, but they might be challenged on the defense. Although, case in point, look at our own core headquarters here. It's actually got a 13 strength defense strength, so that's something to consider when attacking the headquarters units. So especially of a high level headquarters units, it might be heavily defended. Okay, or it might have weapons and equipment which can adequately defend the headquarters unit. Meantime, what do we do here? Yeah. Oh, look at this. Look at our artillery unit over there. Is that an artillery company? Look at that unit. Okay. Look at the supply points nearby. They're really very low, single-digit supply points. Now, what do I think these numbers means? I'll have to look them up in the rules, but I think the lower numbers mean lower supply replenishment. That gives you a measure of how much supply is being replenished. Look at their upper right corners; they're in the red. Okay. Although you might want to compare it to the Marines in Yudam-ni, they're in the black. Okay. So, oh look, the mountain infantry barely has enough attack strength, and it only has minimal defense strength. The only thing they have going for them is they can keep on retreating through the mountains, and doing that, maybe they'll find their way back to their headquarters and again replenish, recuperate, and grow back in strength. Over here near Changjin, there's a Chinese core headquarters. If we do that by comparison, it's probably well defended, but still a tempting target. Maybe we should surround it and destroy it. Okay, and meanwhile, our Marines near Sasu-ri, we're still trying to replenish them. Okay, we're bringing up our division HQ. Would bringing it up help our regimental headquarters in its reorganization? I don't know. I hope so. Where to go? I can't make up my mind. Let's see. Okay, so Puksan and going up here. Very tempting target. How many do we have? Let's go ahead and resolve our attacks. So we're chasing the mountain infantry as long as they're retreating, and I keep hoping that they are weakened. So let's just keep chasing them. Meanwhile, we have a company, an armored company that has been driven to reorganization. It could be because of the depletion of the supplies from all the attacks. I don't know. The point is it will, in a way, lose a turn doing that. You've got Marines stuck in the mountains. Here's one of the things that I've noticed in some of the advice that I see online. Do not put your units in what they call boondocks deployments. What does it mean? As much as possible, you don't want your units to be in isolated, hard to reach areas because it will make it difficult to keep them supplied. As you can see here, near the mountainous regions, so far away from supply sources, the supply replenishment rates, if you could call them that, are in the single digits. So as much as possible, you don't want that. I mean, if the victory point in Yudam-ni wasn't there, probably wouldn't I probably wouldn't be staying in that area. Or maybe I'm just trying to delay them so I could try staying there. So I'm leaving. I've started to move my armored company. Notice that it's out of supply, but I've started to move my armored company. Hopefully we can go back and re-encircle the Chinese forces along Yudam-ni. Okay, we want to isolate them, and meanwhile we want to chase the headquarters along Changjin. Okay, so can we chase this mountain infantry away? As long as it keeps going north, wherever it may go, let's just try to keep chasing it. Again, notice how the supply rating is changing. The infantry company over there isn't looking very good. It's only got 1 attack strength, 1 defense strength. But for Changjin, let's see. These are targets of opportunity in my book. And in my book, I'm just pushing them back and pushing them back. Okay, it's China. It's the China forces' turn, and they're he's breaking out of Sasu-ri, trying to reconnect with his northern units over there. And look at that, mountain infantry trying to go back and recover their supply route over there. Okay, mountain infantry on the river versus an out of supply armored company with more than 7 times attack strength. Yeah, I guess I like the odds. We can attack them. Meanwhile, they're trying to bombard us at the chosen reservoir. They're trying to shift their locations, trying to rotate their units near Yudam-ni. But I'm not very hopeful for the Marines there. I don't know how I can bring them out. Can they break out? I don't know. Meanwhile, in Sasu-ri, they should hold on, heavily fortified, I hope. Okay, and near the chosen reservoir, we just stay there, and it's our turn, turn 7. How many turns here? Oh my goodness, 9 turns remaining. I don't know if we can hold on. How long can we hold on? Okay, I know that I promised that I would make this a short video, but then I keep talking as I'm looking at the turns, trying to review, trying to think back. What was I thinking? I can't seem to stop. Sooner or later, I'm thinking maybe I should cut up this video and cut up this video and then just release it in shorter, maybe less than 20 minutes kind of video segments. But at the same time, I need to organize my thoughts and find out how I'm going to wrap up each chapter. Okay, but if you were having difficulty watching this video through and through, go ahead and save it into your watch later. You can continue watching it again, so that you don't have to watch through the entire video. I think it's gonna take up about how much? 3-4 hours, if I'm not mistaken, to play this game through. Another thing I should think about is trying to stick to a story and edit it so that the story is compact and I'm not just throwing raw footage and just talking about the raw footage about what I'm doing here. But in the meantime, here we are at Sasu-ri. Another way of looking at it is every turn is actually exciting in its own way, because look at what happened. That that enemy regiment, that infantry regiment with 6 strength and 7 defense, broke out. And if we try to attack it, and if it retreats, it's going to reconnect with the other regiments north of Sasu-ri. Now there we try to attack it. If we're going to attack it from Sasu-ri, I think the best option would be to attack it with a limited attack, so that we will not leave Sasu-ri. That's what it means when you make a limited attack. You will not advance after combat. The reason I don't want to advance after combat if I'm attacking from Sasu-ri is because that means I would take units out of that city, out of that area, and which would weaken the defense of that area and would allow the other infantry battalions, the Chinese infantry battalions, to attack it and march in. We are overrunning the mountain infantry, but at this rate, they're just gonna head right back to their home base. They're gonna head back to the Chinese forces. That's what they're going to do. Okay, but in a way, I'm okay with it. Okay, so hey, we're in the red, so we're getting some supply. A while ago, we were in black. But we've only got 11 out of 17 Pershings. I don't think we're getting replacements so far deep behind enemy territory. That's bad. But if we can knock them out of that river and go back up north, that would at least take some pressure off again from Sasu-ri. But and then here near Changjin, we'll have our armored company attack the headquarters unit. That I think that's a division headquarters unit. We can also have our Marines move forward. Okay, we can't flank them, but hopefully that will also add to the pressure, keep them from disengaging. Okay, we should put our a reconnaissance unit there. There's an advantage in having a reconnaissance unit, or even having reconnaissance equipment, capable equipment in your unit when you are engaged in combat. It gives you a first strike capability when the simulation model is running the numbers for a particular combat. I think your forces have a chance of getting an opportunity to strike first, to simulate a first strike if you have a reconnaissance unit. I guess it's supposed to simulate the fact that your reconnaissance units identified the enemy first, so you could shoot first. That's something. Okay, now let me see. Looking at the supply, what was I checking out? Look at that! They've got another supply route. It has been reactivated. The supply source has been reactivated, so that means the units near Yudam-ni are getting supplied. And I wouldn't be surprised if that supply source is going back through the Chinese forces also at Sasu-ri. So a lot of the efforts, I now regret moving the units out of those supply points. If I ever play this game again, or maybe if I ever play another game, if I'm going to occupy a supply point, I think it'll be a good idea to keep it occupied, at the very least with some form of guarding unit. Doesn't have to be your strongest unit, but at the very least keep it occupied to prevent the enemy from recovering its supply. Noted. We'll take note of that. Maybe we can, it's not something I would like to do, but maybe we can split up units so that we can have a unit that's left there. Okay. Again, it's not the best thing that you can do for unit integrity. Meanwhile, here we are near Senhong, and maybe we can maintain our attack. Hopefully, by maintaining our attack, we are chasing the enemy out. Meanwhile, for Majandong, they're holding on. We have some forces there. Hopefully, they will be supplied and replenishing. And we've got an infantry unit that's in bad shape, but look at that. Even the reconnaissance unit in Sudong is actually also in bad shape. We've only got 5 attack strength, but we are overrunning it, and it's retreating. So, well, I think it's called an overrun. If it's not an overrun, we're basically chasing it out of its hexagon. It's what do you call it? Advance before combat. And in doing so, that suggests to me that it is much weaker than the strength 5 of our unit. Okay, near Buksan, what's going on here? We keep on with our fortifications. I haven't been keeping track. We should review this video again. Are we slowly increasing in strength? Because I think our artillery company over here, uh, uh, with strength, attack strength 4, defense strength 2, I think it might have, in its own minuscule way, it might have grown stronger. But at this rate, it would not recover very quickly, because if you look at the supply ratings nearby, they're in the single digits, so they're not being fully replenished. Because again, these are boondocks deployments, we could call them that. They're high up in the mountains. How easy is it to bring your trucks of supplies and equipment, material, replacements going all through the mountain range, bypassing enemy positions and replenishing these units? Well, we do the best that we can. We try to keep our fortifications up, maintain our fortifications. And if you look at that HQ unit, which is a regimental HQ, it's in the green. And the artillery unit, strength 6, and defense strength 2. That artillery company is in yellow, turning green. Okay, so I think that's a good indication of its state of supply and state of replenishment. And if we're not going to attack, we can save our strength. At least, the most we could say is that we are getting stronger. And if we can maintain, if we can keep on encircling them and surrounding them, then maybe the good thing will be we'll just keep getting stronger. They'll keep getting weaker, or they're not getting stronger. Eventually, we might be in a place to attack them and remove them from that area of Buksan. Okay, and then here, these are in defensible positions. Let's see. Oh, okay. So we're resolving the attack. We are attacking the HQ unit. Okay, going. Okay, that's not bad. Not bad. Okay, so we have destroyed the mountain infantry. Kicked them out of Sudong. Hopefully, we can link up again with them. We are continuing to attack that HQ unit. We are attacking that infantry that broke out in Sasu-ri. Oh, you notice how it's decreasing in its force ratings, showing the damage that it has incurred and the losses. And also perhaps because it is out of supply and it cannot recover, that's why it's in its diminished state. Here we are again in red. Which way are we going to go? Okay, so we see that there's a supply point there. Let's go to Panyanggi-san and hopefully again attack that, occupy that supply point there. Our problem is this artillery company can still reoccupy that supply point. So what are we doing? We're just chasing the this artillery unit and cutting them off. We're trying to cut them off. Okay, so but again, that's not very good for Yudam-ni, but hopefully we are cutting them off at Sasu-ri, and by doing that, we'll weaken the forces there, and hopefully we will continue to recover. We will continue to grow in strength at Sasu-ri and push forward north. I don't think this scenario will allow us to go all the way to the Yalu River, but let's see what we can do, trying to attack these soft, well, I don't know if they are soft targets, but they're support units, so hopefully we have an advantage against them. If we attack this artillery unit near the reservoir, or should we attack the other artillery unit, the other artillery stack? Interesting. Interesting problem. Okay. We just want to maintain our entrenched units and maintain it at Sasu-ri. Let's put our artillery into tactical reserve so that they can lend and provide half of their artillery bombardment forces. We can have combat support coming from the I guess the aircraft units from way back down there in the near the port. They'll fly all the way up here and provide that support. Okay. Something tells me I should not have put them all in combat support. You know, something can be said about putting air units in interdiction. Okay, let's continue marching on. Who's gonna tire out first? Do we keep attacking them? They're always on the run. Or are we going to end up being exhausted while they keep running away? We don't know. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. But in the meantime, here in Sinhong, we'll attack them. Okay, kick them out. Kick them out. Okay, so they've moved back. We didn't even have the strength to move forward. Okay, and we backed them against the reservoir, but they've only got a 4% loss check. Yeah, hey, finally, that unit has been destroyed. Okay, I think it's called evaporated. Okay, so pretty good success there near the chosen reservoir. Now we are going to move which way? Further up north? Oh, do we try to encircle them like this? Tempting. Tempting. Can we do that? Okay. The other problem there is, what are the other units that I cannot see? Will I be encircled again? So I decided to play it safe and just move forward and attack them with our armored company. Meanwhile, our infantry company slowly replenishing. And let me see. We don't have any more movement points for our marine. For our marine unit over there, marine battalion. Okay. And then oh, look at that armored company over there. It's already got 15 attack strength, but we can't really attack because look at the other units. There's an infantry unit there with a 9 defense strength. Although, you know, looking back, I should have just attacked that infantry battalion with 9 attack strength and 9 defense strength near Yudam-ni so that it could help the Marines break out. That's my bad. That's my bad. I had written off those units there and I feel bad about it. Okay, meanwhile, I'm trying to maintain my attack near the chosen reservoir. Actually, as I was playing this game, I felt bad. I felt that I had failed them, and I had failed as a military commander, as a military leader, because essentially what I have done is that I gave up on those units and just allowed them to be destroyed. Okay, we continue our attack here, and they can, you know, we've had to break off the attack, and now we are reorganizing. Hey, we finally destroyed the HQ unit. Okay, well, things are getting better here near Jundong. And it's time for the Chinese People's Liberation Army or Volunteer Army. Oh, look at that in Poksan. They're all coming out of the woodwork. So they've tried to attack us again, but we are entrenched, or we are in defensive positions in Majandong as well. Our armored company under attack, and we have had to move back. No wonder they were able to defend themselves. They have a defensive strength 11 infantry battalion there. I should have checked that. I should have checked that. Okay. Meanwhile, our Marines, oh man, look at that. They are routed, and they're strength of 1. and we cannot retreat. That's why we are just taking losses and losses. Oh, and that's it. That's it. Okay, I feel bad. I feel bad about that. Okay, so I'm very sorry. I really apologize to those U.S. forces units over there for having left them in the lurch like that. I should have at least tried to break through and allow them to go back to normal enemy lines. But here we are. Okay. In Sasu-ri, we continue our defense. In Yudam-ni, we're going to hunker down and maintain our gains and our holdings. And I see. They just. I'm also trying to study how does the computer AI conduct its attacks. So what I'm noticing is that it does a lot of bombardment. So I'm wondering, is that a good thing? Is it a good thing to maintain bombardment for first? To maintain bombardment first before you attack them? Because normally I just don't. Ooh, look at that! We overran that unit, and now we've linked up. Hopefully, there will be a supply route passing through Maijondong, up through Sudong, through the Kunchilin Pass, and we can again keep our units near the chosen reservoir and supply. At the same time, let us. Ooh, okay, that's bad. That's a very weak and routed unit there. But hopefully we are forming supply routes here. We've got some mountain infantry again, as I call it, crawling out of the woodwork, coming from the mountains, attacking us from the side, endangering our flanks, particularly our HQ, our headquarters unit, and that tank company, armored company over there. So let's put some more units in Sasu-ri and beef up the strength again. Or what are we doing? Okay. Another point to consider is to continue defending the headquarters unit and then entrench over there. What's the reasoning behind it? Well, maybe because we want to maintain our supply route going all the way to Changjin. Okay. And why do we want to do that? So that we can continue our eradication of that division headquarters unit of the Chinese army. Okay, so we have actually helped the Chinese mountain infantry go back home. Oh, look at this! They've got supplies. Their supply sources are back. That's bad. I didn't want that to happen. We're going to have to get those supply sources. We're gonna have to remove those supply sources again, because if the Chinese forces here become resupplied, then they'll just keep getting stronger. We'll keep getting weaker, and they'll overrun us. Eventually, they'll roll over us. Okay, a little too late there if we're gonna try to attack. I don't think we can do that either. I don't think we can attack them. Okay. Right now, it's starting to look like the most that we can do is hunker down in Yudam-ni, but the question will remain: how do we cut off their supply lines? We're gonna need to spare a unit that can actually go around and encircle them again. Okay. Let's see. Well, we can try bombarding them, but I think it might be better to just save our strength and again reassert, maintain that supply route, and hope that we can get stronger as well and defend and keep at bay these Chinese forces, which is no mean feat. We've actually got an entire corps and its HQ right there, just 2 hexes away. About, what's that? Is that 100 kilometers away? What's that? No, it can't be 100 kilometers away. Sorry about that. This is. I should check again the scale for this map. My bad. Probably 2.5 kilometers away. So 5 kilometers away, maybe. Okay, so let's see. Can we move this armored company out? Or can we disengage this marine unit and um, have it make for the supply routes and recover them again? Let's see. Meanwhile, we are entrenching here. We have not yet fully recovered our supplies. Okay, so let's all units attack at Majandong. We are kicking the mountain infantry. They're out of their element. They're not in the mountains. And that HQ has, I don't know why it moved that way, but now we have encircled it. It looks to me like we are going on an all units attack here. Everybody attack! There we go. See those little red arrows sticking out from the corners. Meanwhile, we've got these 2 units again. All units attack. Yes, please. Do we have enough movement points for all units attack? Yeah. Okay, maybe not, but okay. Let's move up the HQ. Okay. Okay, include that in the attack. Okay. Okay, so oh no, the HQ did not attack. Oh, okay, that's weird. Okay, but it still has movement points. Why can't it attack? Okay. Maintain it in Majandong. We'll continue there. Actually, that mountain infantry company has only 2 attack strength and 3 defense strength, so it's not really very strong. But I'm not taking any chances, I guess. Anyway, hopefully it will not get any stronger. Meanwhile, near Puksan, we have effectively been encircled. Our artillery unit there has effectively been encircled. We're just trying to stay again in that area, in that mountainous area, see if we can entrench ourselves and defend ourselves throughout the duration of their attacks, weather their attacks. Let me see. Okay, let's actually I kinda enjoy watching these mountain infantry retreating. Okay, yeah, there's the HQ unit. I wonder why we have an armored is that an armored platoon? Why we have an armored platoon there that's reorganizing. It must have split off from some other unit. But let's bring up the Marines here and again attack that headquarters unit. The Marine Battalion. Attack that headquarters unit. And is it possible to continue our attack? No, we're out of movement points. We're reorganizing here. It's like we're too exhausted. We're fighting back the Chinese, but we're too exhausted trying to do that. Okay, so here let's resolve the attacks. Attacking the headquarters unit again. We're chasing it across the map. Yeah. Okay, let's keep attacking it. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so armor, yes, go. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know that air defense unit's still around. Is that an air defense battalion? It's still around. Okay, I thought we had destroyed that already. Okay, maybe we can just bombard this mountain infantry. Will that help? I don't know. This is not really mountain infantry, mountain reconnaissance, actually, units. So let's see what we can do. We attack them with the headquarters units, basically bombarding them, and not much damage, I guess. Okay, but we do what we can. Keep the pressure on them, so to speak. So we're bombarding them. And I think that is what the Chinese forces do also. So here, what's the Oh my goodness, look at that. More reinforcements. They're coming in from all sides. And let's see, they're starting to bombard us north of Tuksan. And then near the Chosin Reservoir, they're bombarding us again. I wonder why they tend to do that. Is that a normal AI strategy, or is that peculiar to this scenario? Or is the AI strategy to use bombardment first before attacking? There might be something to that, but why not just use it as part of combat support? I don't know. I don't know why it doesn't do that. Ooh, I feel bad about this armored unit over here. It's reorganizing and it is under attack with no less than 2, maybe 3 mountain infantry battalions. Oh my goodness. We have just lost some units here near Yudam-ni. Okay. I'm sure that we are seeing a very good reason why the option was taken to bring the forces back to Hongnam Port City, because of what's happening here. The U.S. forces are under heavy attack from the Chinese forces. More to discuss about the results of this scenario later, but suffice it to say, what we are seeing is that by leaving the forces here near the Chosin Reservoir and trying to defend this area, I don't know if it can be said that we are defending the indefensible, or we're just, rather than defending the reservoir, what we are ending up doing is, oh my goodness, I've tried to make a run for that supply area, and look who's hiding there, if not another core HQ over there. So peekaboo, that's what we've got. And then you got some infantry there. As soon as we eliminate this mountain reconnaissance force here, we have got to charge all the way back up there and help defend that area. But with all the fighting we're doing, we need to recuperate, because you could see here that the forces are reorganizing. They're still busy trying to replenish with supplies and all of that. Here, are we going to try to attack? I don't think so. They look at that. They're fortified, and they've been there for a long time. They're fortified. They've probably recovered and replenished. Meanwhile, our supplies are dwindling here as well. But maybe we can continue attacking that headquarters unit. Okay. We've been here for a few turns. I don't know the extent of our supply rating, but we're in red. Look at the upper right corners. The supply rating, the condition is in red. I think the reason there is that even though we opened a corridor of supply, there was still no supply coming all the way through the Funchilin Pass. But I don't know if maybe near the Funchilin Pass there's supposed to be an airstrip there, so supply that should have been a supply source too. So I don't know why our units are not in the green. Look at that, Yudam-ni. Our units there are in the black. They are out of supply. Okay, let's resolve the attacks, and okay, let's attack that headquarters unit. Okay, did it retreat? No, we destroyed the headquarters unit. That's good. And here we continue to push back the mountain reconnaissance unit, and we are trying to push back the enemy here. Okay, so again, that's what happens when you simply go on a mobile attack. You have actually left your entrenchment area, which is not necessarily a good thing. Okay. From Changjin, I don't know if we did that, if that was a good move. I wondered if again we should have gone on an encircling movement, but okay. We've got a unit over there. That's just an air defense battalion, I think. Is it? And if that's the case, then maybe we can attack it, and hopefully it would not have much defense against our armored units. I'm not too sure. Okay, I don't know what caliber of it is, and we would have to check what are the component equipment and units of our armored units to see if how well the air defense battalion can defend itself. Okay, but in the meantime, we continue chasing the mountain reconnaissance units here, and we see from Kotori that we should be getting our supplies. But how are we going to get the supply points again and recover that? Okay, so we're going to shift our air missions partly to interdiction, and then we continue to chase the enemy here. And can we provide the adequate air support? No. Okay, so we just push them out of that area. And can we still chase them? No, we're out. Okay, we can go up north. Okay, we can see that. Let's see. Okay, and here near Buksan, the river, we're out of movement points. But what should we do with our marine regiment? Should we support that armored company, or that's reorganizing and protect it from the infantry, mountain infantry? After all, it only has defense strength 3 against an attack strength of 9. There's a 50% chance that they'll take a very bad beating. I'm just estimating these. I don't really know what the odds are. Pay no mind. But maybe I should have protected the reorganizing armored company. That's what I should do. Okay, let's do that. You gotta right click there. Right, okay. And then once we do that, we could hunker down. Okay, so there's a supply source in Kotori. So again, the question will be, what's the supply status in these areas? Okay, can't make up my mind. But thinking back, I think we should have supported and helped defend that reorganizing armored unit. Meanwhile, Yudam-ni in bad shape, and that marine unit also in bad shape. Okay, I regret that. Look at that in Hagaru-ri. Oh, we've been attacked. We've been overrun. In Mahjong-di, again, they come out. Look at that. They crawl out of the woodwork. But fortunately, we have our air units in interdiction missions, so we are attacking them while they try to attack our flanks. Okay, so let me see. Chinese are trying to attack again. Poor thing, we've got our engineers here. Our armored company. Ooh, look at that! Look at that! How it was. Look at how the attack strength and the defense strength actually went dramatically down. It's in bad condition. It's out of supply. It's routed. I actually thought it was going to hold up for a long time, and but somehow it is not. I'll have to study the mechanics of this game some more to find out how that was done. Is it because of the continuous bombardment that's debuffing effect, that it really makes it hard for you to defend when you've been bombarded? Oh my goodness, look at that. That's really bad. That's really bad. That unit was pretty strong, but you'll notice that it had an attack strength of 15 but a defense strength of 5, but it was repeatedly attacked and bombarded. And what happens in just one turn of being chased all around Yudam-ni? It was destroyed. Oh, I don't know how that works, but something to study, something for our study. Meanwhile, we are getting so bogged down here near Mejondong because our units are all reorganizing. We're not moving at all. Uh, we're not moving at all. It's like what's going on? Are we missing something? Are we out of supply or something? Supply is too low. Have we worked our units ragged by continuously attacking and advancing? I don't know what makes it. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, looking at the big picture, trying to look at the map. Yudam-ni is in pretty bad shape, very bad position. They are literally surrounded, and they are entrenched, but they are literally surrounded. Okay, and near the is it the Pangam-ni River? We have 3 units there that have been shattered. We need to recombine them. Okay, but they are out of supply. Let's link up. Can we disengage and link up? Aha! Okay, so well, we're going to face off with that artillery unit as well. Why don't we move this unit and um, get to that artillery unit by attacking that air defense battalion? Okay. No, I don't think we can move around that circuitous route. The point that we want to make is advance and link up. Okay, we've linked up. By doing that, what we want to do is get our armored company back in supply. Okay, so do we disengage and maintain and protect that, or do we try to maneuver here so that we can maintain the supply route to the armored company? Well, we can do that. Yeah, we can do it that way. And all units attack. Can we do an all units attack against that artillery unit? I don't think the other units have enough movement points for all units attack, but all units available will be attacking the artillery unit and the air defense battalion. Okay, and that artillery company as well. Sasu-ri, stay where you are. Entrench yourself, get fortifications, and come on, guys, let's get back into shape. We're all in the red. What's up with that? Okay, it's like it takes forever to get them resupplied, and it could be because of the infantry battalion near Hagaru-ri. Is it affecting our supply route? I don't know. Something tells me if we move this marine unit, along Toktong Pass, I'm wondering if we can again reach their supply route. The unit in Hagaru-ri, just stay there. And for the Marines, where are you going? I think if we advance, you know what I fear? If we advance through Toktong Pass, we're gonna meet up with more Chinese units like that one. Okay, air defense unit, not too bad, still not good. A portent of things to come. Maybe there's an entire wall of Chinese units after the pass. That's bad. Mejondong, barely moving. We've basically used up all of our resources there. Let's push them out. Okay, we've got close air support and some artillery combat support as well. Did we push them out? Okay, we pushed them up a little bit. Okay. And now begins in earnest the Marine battalion moving up north. Okay, I think we've eliminated the air defense unit, 92% check. Okay, and hopefully that will bring back our armored unit. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's move up. Can we? Yeah, that's better. Just move up there. Yeah, move up there, and then let's all units attack the artillery. Well, okay, so we've overrun them. Okay. Can we move up north? No. Okay. Armored unit there is in bad shape. Meanwhile, at Toktong Pass, can we move forward? I don't know. If we try to attack it, it's going to just get bogged down. Okay, so it's China forces turn. Volunteer army. Ooh, there's more of them. And they are coming up against Majandong. Imagine that. Okay, so here we've got our units in red, and our units are slowly being depleted. And Yudam-ni, don't be surprised if the forces there are eventually overwhelmed. That's not going to look good. Even politically, it's not going to look good. I will end up actually allowing entire units of the U.S. forces to be surrounded, cut off, and obliterated. That would have been a major propaganda coup, I think, for the Chinese forces, and I think that was also part of the objective of the Chinese Volunteer Army, the People's Volunteer Army, when they entered North Korea, because they saw that maybe the Marine Corps was a bit overextended up north, and they felt that if they could defeat the Marine Corps, they could actually expose how vulnerable the United States forces can be. Well, the United States should have gone back. Historically, they did start to go back in the direction of Hungnam, and in this case, we are exploring again what would happen if we did not bring our forces back to Hungnam. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I think we're holding out in Yudam-ni, and we're holding out in Sasu-ri. But I don't know how much supply do we need so that we can recover. My units are. I haven't had our units go up to green lately. They're always in the red. It's like they'll never get enough, except for that unit in Hagaru-ri. Maybe the supply route is not very good. In this area. So outside of a city and away from the roads, supply is just difficult. I think that's what we're seeing here, and that's why they continue to be in the red. Okay, but from Yudam-ni River, if we can go up here and cut them off, maybe we have a chance of coming here. But if we can cut them off, then they'll be out of supply. But look at that, we move forward and there's more of them. There's just no end to the enemy units here. So anyway, we'll try to move forward. Hopefully there's lots of them, but hopefully they're all weak or weakened or weaker than us. I don't know. But they're fresh. They're fresh in supply because they're well connected. I mean, they have a good trace to their supply units. But again, it might depend on the terrain. So I wouldn't be surprised if this that headquarters unit is well in supply. Okay, so it's actually very good that I'm reviewing this gameplay video rather than just simply talking straight away. Look at what I'm noticing here. The unit in Hagaru-ri is in green, and even though technically we have units which can trace their supply line from Hagaru-ri, they are in red. And what does this tell us? Based on what I remember from the manual, I think this means that um, if your unit is situated in a way that makes it difficult to deliver the supply, you're away from the road, or even if you're near the road, you're cut off, makes it difficult to deliver the supply, then your condition and your supply rating will be lower, will be very that much worse off. But say if you're staying in a city, or if you're staying in a near a road network, and you can trace a supply line, then your condition goes back up to green. Something to keep in mind. Stick to the roads. That's what it means. That's what they say when the tips and the guides always advise avoid boondock deployments. Or yeah, don't try to stray too far from the supply routes. Don't make it hard for the people, for your logistics teams to bring the supply to you. Now, in this case, in Majandong, why are they in the red? They are near Majandong, they're near the road. The answer is, I think, because they are cut off from supply. Because if you'll notice again, the Chinese forces have cut us off. We fought all the way to Majandong, but now we are cut off because they're behind us again. Notice the boundary here, near the boundaries of the hexes. There's a black line and then there's an orange line. The orange line, of course, represents the areas occupied by the enemy, in this case the Chinese forces. The black lines are the friendly territory. Okay, so we're gonna have to fight our way back to the supply route. Everybody consolidate, go into Majandong. Reminds me of what they say when I'm about to lose in Company of Heroes 2. Consolidate our forces. We're down to 10 points. Right, excuse me. Meanwhile, in Puksan, oh, look at this. In Puksan, we're in green. Why is that? Where are we getting our supply from? I mean, from Puksan, I don't see a road network. Okay, very interesting to study this gameplay video, because then it helps us, understand the gameplay better. Now the Operational Art of War 4 has been around for a number of years, and I don't hear any news about making improvements to this game or coming up with a newer version. But if there is an opportunity to come up with a new version or to make improvements to this game, some visual improvements that I think would be good would be, or maybe I just don't know how to do it, is to make the road and supply network, to highlight it on the map. Okay, I mean, you can remove the units so that you could see the terrain. You could activate the supply sources so that you could see the supply conditions. But it would be interesting to see the road network as well, since now we've realized that it's actually an important point of consideration, that staying close to the road network could help stay close to the supply line. Yeah, that'll be good. Okay, so here we're still in the mountain range, but I don't know if we're trying to I don't know if we would dare to risk going out of the mountain range. Why would we want to do that? So okay, air briefing. Theater interdiction level is 5%. Oh my goodness. Air superiority is 1. It's not like I don't know what's the strength of enemy air superiority, but let's try to kick them out of Toktong Pass. No, I mean they had a significant strength loss check, but no, they're not. From Hagaru-ri, we kick back. they've retreated, but I think that should only be a limited attack. Let's not risk leaving the security of that city. And if I'm not mistaken, we've just destroyed another headquarters unit. The only good thing that I can see here that we're getting from the points side is by if we keep on destroying headquarters units, then maybe we are depleting their ability to reorganize, stay in supply, unit integrity, and all the other multiplier effects of having a headquarters units. Ouch. Okay, so meanwhile, Toktong Pass, can we kick them out again? I'm actually tempted to just bypass them. Let me see. Can we still move this forward? Okay, we can move from Yudam-ni River. We can cut them off from behind here. Now, if we actually move south, we would effectively encircle them. And then what we can do is just move that very weak armored unit and hopefully move forward further. Yeah. Hopefully there are no other enemy units hiding there. Do I dare advance again? Okay, where are the supplies? Oh, okay, so I can see supply. Okay, now this I don't understand. How come there are supply sources here? I mean, there are supply sources here, but apparently there are supply, what do you call them? Supply areas there. Okay. Okay. So let's move forward there. Now the Chinese units at Sasu-ri are effectively encircled. Again, single-digit supply, and that's why we're not going to attack the mountain infantry. Okay, they're in the mountains, we have armor, but really, why would you want to do that? Meanwhile, what shall we do here? Headquarters unit is here, but it's going to be harassed by the mountain infantry. I don't know if we want to retreat this armored unit, but actually it's in a bad shape. It's in pretty bad shape. It only has a defense strength of 3, and it's going to be under attack by mountain infantry with an attack strength of 10. So it's a serious consideration for us to move back. Okay, here we've got infantry headquarters units there with infantry. Let's move them out because they're out of supply. It'll take all of our movement points, almost all, 10 movement points. That's almost all of them. Okay, the big chunk of the movement points. But at least we hope to bring them back in supply. Meanwhile, in Majondong, what's going on here? We're consolidating, bring them together. Okay. What have we got? Let's go. Resolve it. Kick them out. I don't know why I want... Hey! Not bad. They were not able to move out. Let's advance. Now that we've gotten them out of the way, maybe we can advance through Toktong Pass and go straight to that... No, not... Yeah, there. They're not through there. There. Yeah, maybe we can move to that area. I know it'll be harder to pass through there, but we want to avoid getting engaged into the zone of control of the of that infantry. Is that an infantry regiment? Yeah. Is that an infantry regiment or an infantry battalion? Something like that. Yeah. Okay. Okay, we made one small advance in Toktong Pass, and we're hoping to advance again even further. Probably may harass and make it harder for the headquarters units there. They're not attacking our engineers. I think I've ordered the engineers to continue entrenching. Now it's their turn. They are reinforcing at Yudam-ni. They're trying to break out, go in reverse from Sasu-ri. And in Puksan, they are kicking us. Oh no, disaster. Majondong. They are chasing us out. Okay. Okay, they've attacked. Oh, they're bombarding our HQ units. I wonder where the bombardment's coming from. Okay, they're bombarding us at Yudam-ni. Okay, oh, our poor engineers, they're entrenched, but they're under attack. Oh no, this is bad. This is bad. Our units are surrounded. Look at that. Okay, I feel weak. I feel weak. The U.S. forces surrounded in Yudam-ni. I don't know how I can actually explain this to the. I wouldn't be surprised if the scenario actually had a mechanics for computing this and showing that therefore I suffered a complete and utter political disaster here by actually allowing U.S. forces to be surrounded and obliterated. This is not going to go well in my memoirs. This is going to be a very bad chapter if I were the real commander here. There's a reason why I am just playing the game. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this for real. Okay. But now it's our turn, and maybe we have a chance at moving forward. Okay, can we get there? Can we get there? Yes, barely. Okay, by next turn we would occupy that. And then again after that we'll go up again. Okay, we go up to Pyongyang. Let me see, Pyongyang-san. Ooh, there's an artillery unit there. We only have 2 units. Our armored unit has only 2 attack strength. Oh, but we actually kicked the artillery out. Okay, fancy that. Fancy that. Okay. No, this is tenuous. This is tenuous. How are we going to look at that? Our units at Sasu-ri and near the Yudam-ni River have forever been in condition red. What's going on here? No replacements? No units to replenish? What's going on? Well, I suppose it's the same thing for the enemy, I guess. They're out of supply, so look at that. They've got 0 attack strengths, and we're practically overrunning them, but make no mistake, that's a 13 defense strength infantry battalion, and you want to be careful with that one. So what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? I think what we're gonna do is try to reinforce that. The reason I haven't moved that unit away from the mountain infantry is I am hoping and relying that we can maintain this wide corridor for supply. I don't know if that makes any sense, because it's all about the logistics network. I mean, even if you have a wide corridor, if the terrain does not make it very suitable for actually getting your equipment, then maybe your supply rating remains low. Yeah. But let's try to reinforce them. At least what we're doing is we are pinning these strong units. Okay, at least they're not moving around, maneuvering and encircling us. So let's hope that we keep them occupied. Let's just hope we keep them occupied. Okay. Okay. Meanwhile, what are we trying to do? Okay, let's keep them defending and put them on tactical reserve. I think they're in range. Yeah, put them on tactical reserve. Meanwhile, we've got an HQ unit here, and we have Task Force Drysdale, or is it Drisdale? Sorry, not very good at Task Force Drysdale. And we've got a 1 strength artillery company there, and we are kicking them all around. Ooh, we are surrounded. HQ units surrounded by infantry companies. Let's move back in, and let's see if we can move forward and kick them away, these weakened infantry companies. So here's how I imagine it. We are 2 units, and both are weakened, and we don't know who's going to last long. Doubtful it stood, as 2 swimmers choking one another. No, I'm getting I'm getting my verses wrong, but that's what it's starting to look like here. It could go either way, and that's why I'm saying doubtful. It's stuck. I should look it up, and I should try to read it, because I certainly can't memorize it. Okay, no, and let me see. Okay, Majandong surrounded, out of supply. It's bad. It's bad. But I think that after we finish this turn, at least that we're going to get back one more supply route, and the tricky part is getting that other supply route as well. This is turn 12. Do we have until turn 13? Do we have until turn 13, I think? Okay, let's end our turn. Turn 12. Let's see how the volunteer army makes out. Okay, they're chasing across the map. Artillery company is trying to go against the Marines. They're trying to bombard us. Our armored company there, armored unit there, and they're trying to beef up their strength near Sasu-ri, surrounding us at Majandong. This is bad, historically, when you think about it. Oh, okay. Because if we had wanted to retreat again to Hongnam, we can't. Okay. And in Puksan, for instance, we're getting bogged down. The bottom line that I'm seeing here is that even if we wanted to, we could not disengage, and we could not save our units go to Hongnam. What I have effectively done by not advancing in the other direction is basically forced these units near the Chosen to be committed. They can't disengage. I don't think I can disengage them if I wanted to. So I guess that's where we are. We're just working on inflicting as many losses as we can, trying to save and preserve our gains. Let's see how far we can take this. Okay. Oh, they've already taken it again. They've taken again some of our areas there at the Funchilin Pass. Again, we are effectively out of supply. Okay, let's go up north. Let's keep chasing him across the map. Oh, we've run out. Meanwhile, okay, we've grown in strength. Don't attack him. Oh, we can't attack further. Should we attack him? Should we push him back? I don't know if I want to. Push him back. Okay, so let's maintain our defenses here. Oh, look at that. Target of opportunity, mountain infantry. Why not? We'll overrun it, I'm sure. But if we overrun it, are we cutting them off, or are we going to be cut off? Oh, look at that. Okay, so now our 5 defense strength Marine battalion is outflanked. Now we've got to get him out and bring him back into Sasu-ri. Okay, so we back here. That was actually pretty sly of the AI. They rhyme. That was pretty smart. You know, it showed me a weak force target of opportunity. I take the bait, and boom, I'm outflanked. Okay. Now, in my case, do I dare attack the infantry stack there? I don't know. I think I'm just happy keeping them out of supply, because they'll try to save their strength. But in the meantime, what's going on at Funchilin Pass? Somebody's taken over it. We can't recover it. Do we dare leave Hagaru-ri with our infantry and leave it with the HQ unit? Can we go forward and go to Funchilin Pass? Yeah, sure, go ahead. What do we got to lose? Oof. So, there's a battalion occupying it. How strong is it? That I don't know. Can we take it on? I don't know. Let's see. Interesting question here. Are we going to attack this infantry unit? I don't think so. Should we advance, put ourselves in a precarious position just so we can resupply our infantry? Or will the infantry stay there? Okay, not bad. Okay, so we'll put the infantry here. Hopefully it gets resupplied. We're not getting... That's why we're so weak. We're not getting any supplies from Funchilin Pass. Okay, these guys... I think that if we try to retreat, we are going to be outflanked. We are going to be destroyed. But hey, wait a minute. That's actually a pretty strong... That's actually a pretty strong infantry unit. Oh, okay. We've decided to go back through the mountains. Rather than be surrounded, we'll try to go back the other way. We're still out of supply, but we will try to make a southwestern maneuver later so that we can regain and get back into supply. Okay, now something else I'll have to study is if it's red, I understand that's friendly supply. If it's blue, that's enemy supply. What if it's blank? Is it a supply point for both? Is it neutral? I don't know. Okay. He's still moving around. Okay, he's gonna try to break out. Look at that. And in Funchilin Pass, they're trying to reinforce it. Ooh, they're trying to attack us, but it's just a not just a bombardment, but it is a bombardment. Yudam-ni, oh, these guys, very bad shape. Bombardment again. Oh, well, they tried to weakly attack us, but they got eliminated. Meanwhile, our engineers are heavily fortified. That's good. In Sasu-ri, we are being driven back. Okay, in a way that's okay with me, as long as they keep wasting their ammo, I guess. The important thing for me is I'm supplied, they're not. They're cut off. But for how long? Look at that. This infantry unit's... Oh no, it's evaporated. Okay. They continue our attack. Can we go up and get their supply? Okay, so this diplomatically, no, not diplomatically, even from a political perspective, we're in bad shape. I don't know how the military commander can explain to the American government what has happened here. We're committed, we're isolated, we're bogged down, we can't bring our troops back out, and we're cut off. The only solution I can think here is to bring in more reinforcements, to reinforce this area further, which of course means getting really bogged down in a war with the Chinese forces. Look at that, all that in Meijandong. I'm surprised that the Chinese units over here did not ignore Majandong and just decide to simply go all the way to Hongnam. Okay, so they're still trying to attack us here. The engineers. We're holding out. I hope we don't leave that area. I spoke too soon. Oh no. He's gonna advance after combat, isn't he? Okay, my turn. Okay, US forces turn. Okay. First things first. Oh, Funchilin Pass. They might be weak. Do we have a chance? Attack it? Okay, this one. All available units. Go back in there, boys. Go back in there, gentlemen. Okay. And then, yeah. Entrench. And get back into the defense. Okay. Everybody. No, don't attack. Okay,
Can we disengage? Go back to Hamhung. Yeah, and then defend that area. Okay. And then I'm gonna have to do something about the graphics here. Can't capture graphics very well. Occupy this. Yeah, nice. Okay, so we're back. Maybe we should move our Marines back to the edge of the map and occupy that supply point as well. Guess not. I'm too tempted to attack the HQ unit. Okay, so we attack it. Now this one maintains its defense. Again, fortify. Well, okay. Let's fortify it, everybody. Come on, work on it. There's a certain RNG, random number generation here. Okay. Okay. In Sasu-ri. Yep. Okay, can we kick them back out? I don't know. I'm in a very weakened state. Our units have been fragmented, shattered, I'd call it, and we couldn't recombine because one of the component units has been destroyed. We'll just try to attack. All units attack. Okay. And I wonder if they're being resupplied. I hope not. Okay. Yep. Okay, I hope they're not getting resupplied. But let's see if our units at how's Poksan doing? Can we move our units there? Resolve the attack? Can we kick them out of the Funchilin Pass? Well, we tried. We'll try again. Part of the turn. HQ unit, oh, not so good. Reorganize. Infantry, attacking the infantry. Okay, we broke them, but our units are not very strong. They can easily counterattack. We failed the force proficiency check. Sorry for that. I'm gonna have to work on my de-esser. Proficiency check failed, so now it's the other faction's turn. I'm hoping that they'll try to keep attacking me at Yudam-ni, but they don't. They're out of supply. So let's see who's going to give up first. Well, I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna give up. We're gonna keep on holding on to Yudam-ni. Okay. Oh, they're bombarding us? Yeah, they're bombarding us. I wonder how effective bombardment goes. Okay. So they're trying to continue, and now comes combat, is it? No, still bombardment. Yeah, they're still bombarding us. Probably a lot of HQ units and artillery units. Poksan, they're chasing us. Let's retreat. Okay, we're retreating. Notice how that infantry battalion went down to 6-6. Oh, okay, advance after combat. You know what they've just done? They've just given us a route to supply. But that's not saying much. We're in the middle of the mountain range. So, I don't know if anybody's going to, how far supplies are going to reach us. In Yudam-ni, it's a miracle we have not yet been obliterated. Mei Jandong, same thing. They're trying to attack us from all sides. But we're trying to hold out. Okay. Okay, our turn. We have reinforcements. Where'd the reinforcements come from? I think those are probably some units that have been eliminated being brought back into play. That's cold comfort. But yeah. Which are these? Right now, our victory level is 50 out of 65, plus eliminated units bonuses. So we're still committed here in Chosen. And we've got reinforcement. Yeah, it's very weak, but let's go ahead and defend Hamhung. So let's move up. Oh, we can move up further. Sure. Yeah. Going up to Aurori. No, let's go up to Hamhong because we're weaker. And then the force at Hamhong, that's the one that's going up. Yeah, let's try to do that. And they're both weak. Look at that. Okay, 2nd Battalion, 17th Regiment. Okay, here at Majondong. From Hamhong, who's gonna move up? Sure. Let's try to break through. Come on, don't be scared. Buksan, look at that. 1 digit. Supply rating of 1. That's what happens when you're stationed out all by your lonesome in the mountains. Trucks can't get to you. And it's just so much harder to bring food. And I guess there's no air supply here. Okay, or if there is, it's very minimal. Keep that in mind. But look, condition of the headquarters, it's fortified, it's been there all this time. How's it doing? It's green. It's green. How about the people in Puksan? Look at that. Yeah, it's green. 14 attack strength, 20 defense strength. Okay, so I guess there's plenty of supply that you can get from Puksan. It's just that as you go out further into the mountains, then you don't have your chance of getting supplied dramatically drops. That's what I'll say. It just drops dramatically. So we're learning some lessons here about keeping our units in good health, good strength, close to the road, close to the urban centers, and tracing a line of supply back to the supply source. That's what you'd like for your side, and that's what you want to disrupt from the enemy's side. If you can chase them into the mountains, if you can chase them out away from the cities, and if you can cut them off from their supply source, so much the better. Oh my goodness, look at this. In Hagaru-ri, you're an HQ unit and you are actually being outflanked by infantry and mountain infantry. Come on, stay there. But in the meantime, can you be reinforced? How do we reinforce you? You know? Now, here's something strange. If you look at Yudam-ni, it's only got a supply rating of 1. So, what happened to our theory? It's out of supply. I think it's because we cannot ultimately trace supply back to Phuentsholing Pass or Koto-ri. Why? Because the road coming from Hagaru-ri has been cut off by that mountain infantry. That's why. Okay. So what are we gonna do? Are we going to try to attack the mountain infantry here? So, because there's a part of me that just wants to hunker down and consolidate the gains at Sasu-ri. Same thing near the Yudam-ni River. Okay, I don't even want to move anymore. I'm just trying to hunker down. Okay, maybe we can try to see if we can push them out. Not bad, not bad. We actually overran them. After all, they're just reconnaissance units, but these are mountain reconnaissance units. Well, they're out of their element. They're not in the mountain, that's for sure. Okay, so should we try to attack them again? Or should we defend Phuentsholing Pass? I don't know how much good it's gonna do, because because of the way the Chinese forces are encircling us as well, these are becoming little pockets with no supply. You know? I mean, even if we have captured these victory point hexes, even if we've captured these cities, these villages, because they cannot trace that line of supply, uh, they have become little pockets of out of supply areas. They're just worth their victory points, but our units are not replenishing, except for the one in Ham Hong, I guess. Okay, China's turn. Okay. They're attacking us, surrounding us at Hagaru-ri. Okay. Who's surrounding whom? Who's encircling whom? I can't tell anymore. Okay, Sasu-ri. Oh, there's an artillery unit there. Yudam-ni. Every time they attack Yudam-ni, there's a part of me that's saying, that's always afraid of the news that they will get obliterated. How are we gonna save them? If this were a real combat, if this were a real operation, how are we going to save those units? They have been too far committed. The only solution I could think here is more troops. Okay, reinforcements, more reinforcements. Oh, look at that. That Poksan has some pretty strong forces, except that enemy forces are stronger. Okay, we're consolidating in Majandong as well. Okay, we're on the defense. Hold the line. Okay. Oh, the other thing that I think that I would like to automate here, some quality of life features, is that if you can order units to, by default, if you can order them by default to entrench or take defensive works. Okay, hey, so far we've got a victory level of 70 out of 65. I think that's brought about by the loss penalties. Okay, so here, Funchilin Pass, can we knock him? I mean, we've overrun them before. Can we knock him again? Come on, let's give it a try. Majandong, entrench. Yeah, I think I'd like to automate that. Or maybe it should depend on doctrine. But I don't know. It's like, I guess it's the equivalent of whenever the army stops, start digging defensive works. Start building defensive works. Okay, let's go up here. Sure. Come on. Supplies, please. Okay. Let's go. Right click. Oh, okay. Let's give it a try. It's artillery unit. Okay, so I guess we didn't overrun it. Maybe we can try to overrun them here. I'm at a loss. I don't know what to do. I'm keeping those mountain infantry pinned. Okay, our marines have recovered. Can they now attack the headquarters units? Okay, the corps and division headquarters units. Can they now attack them? Maybe we should do an all units attack. I don't know, there's a part of me that's thinking about that. Yeah, again, Yudam-ni is encircled. I don't want to move out of the supply locations anymore. Okay. Sasu-ri forever in condition red. I should also be paying attention of whether these are what are these AM turns versus PM turns. My understanding is that during the PM turns, if I remember reading correctly, the Chinese are able to advance and attack and make some gains during the PM, afternoon to evening turns. But during the daytime, especially if they're out in the open, the American forces have an advantage, and they can recover. So maybe I should time my offenses that way. But here we've got to consolidate. Okay, I'm just basically trying to hold off the Chinese forces here near the Yangnim range, trying to stay within a supply area. But oh, look at that! I don't know if I can get supplies from Hagaru-ri. It's almost like, well, in a way, it's irrelevant because I'm in a mountain range. So even if Hagaru-ri is a supply source, I can't get supplied if the truck has to go, if there's no road going there and the truck has to go through the mountains. Okay. And meanwhile, we have failed to cut them off. I think they've recovered and received sufficient supply routes. Found sufficient supply routes. Okay, but okay. So that's another thing that I would like from a new version of this game, is if there's a way for me to identify supply routes. Okay, attacking the HQ. Ooh, they've held out on their own. I think they're doing pretty well. Can we attack? Oh, okay, we've attacked their artillery. That's good. Maybe we can link up. Maybe we can link up with our supply. Again from Jandong. What are we gonna do from there? Hamhong? Do we want to go up north? I was expecting them to be fully replenished by now. The ones at Hamhong. After all, it's a railway intersection, it's a railway hub. Why not? We're out of supply, but we can't move. Okay, so Funchilin Pass. We are now at condition red. I don't want to expend all my resources, because if I do that, I'm thinking maybe I'll lose, because if I expend all my resources attacking that HQ, but that HQ doesn't get eliminated, it just might give them an opportunity again to retake that supply source. Okay, all units attack perhaps. That'll be the engineers unit and the Marines. 7 plus 8, is that 15? I don't know what's the strength of that division headquarters unit. I don't know the defense strength. Okay, so from Hagaru-ri, nothing much. We continue. Hey, it's in orange. That's an improvement. But it's still an attack strength of 3 and a defense of 1. Okay, headquarters. What's gonna happen? Oh, look at that. The engineering unit has, I would say the attack has been repulsed. And now it's reorganizing. Okay, it's PLA turn. Okay, look at that. Where did that come from? Another infantry unit came out from Toktong Pass. Yudam-ni is again surrounded. They're continuing to bombard us. We're not moving. Okay, so the engineers, they will be attacked soon. Okay. Hey, end of scenario. Look at that. Your Marines have done it. A great triumph over extreme adversity was achieved in the mountains of North Korea when troops of the 1st U.S. Marine Division successfully broke through strong army resistance to reach the port of Hongnam. We didn't do that. Many doubted that it could be done. General Smith never did. He believed in you and your troops. The fighting march from Chosin to Hongnam is not an ignominious retreat, but a glorious triumph that simply adds laurels to the fighting spirit of the United States Marines. Your efforts are reflected in your triumph in adversity. Well, I guess that was a pre-programmed end of scenario message depending on your victory points. And as we saw last time, we had 70 victory points out of a possible 65 because I think it was because we held the victory point areas, but also because we had losses. I mean enemy losses. Oh, look at that! Hey, we got a chance to see. Oh, so the enemy is out of supply as well. Okay, that's good. That's good. So they're out of supply as well. So we are in bad condition. They are in black condition, I guess. So yeah, doubtful it stood. Okay, and so thanks very much for watching. But it was actually fun to see it this way, and it was actually a lot of fun to see the end message come out like this. We're in a very bad shape, but it seems that the enemy is also in very bad shape. But the fun part is we did not advance in the other direction. We did not try to move back to Hongnam, but it was funny that the victory conditions came out and described as if we had tried to march to Hongnam. That's actually very interesting when you think about it. There might have been some different ways that I would try to play this game, but thank you very much for watching. Please leave your comments below. What do you think of the strategy that we employed? Would you have done things differently? Let us know. Please follow us, like, and subscribe. Tap the bell icon. Support us on Patreon. And we hope to see you again next time. Take care. Thanks for watching.